This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Slowman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Slowman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Slowman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. Good afternoon, baby. We are ready to rock and roll from beautiful Hialeah Park. It's Thursday. Where else are we going to be? We're at Hialeah Park, where they're giving away a Mercedes. Yeah, come on by, play the games, play the slot machines every time. The more you play, the more entries you get, and they're going to give away that Mercedes-Benz on April Fool's Day. So, yes, April 1st, they will give away. You got to be present also for that. So, come on out, play the games, get some entries in there, come back on April 1st, and see if you end up winning the Mercedes-Benz. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Here we go. We got the message board starting to light up on the chat board there. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Get the algorithm going. That's what it's all about. Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that masters this entire platform every single day. Driving the show. We told you we're going to be at the youth fair this year, and we're not lying. So starting on Monday's show will not be a 10 a.m. show, by the way. Monday's show will be 2 to 5, actually, in the afternoon, because we're going to be at the youth fair on Monday. We're going to be giving away some passes and stuff like that, so stay tuned. Wednesday, March 29th, we'll be back there from 2 to 5 p.m., and Wednesday, April 5th, it'll be a little bit of a later show, 4 to 7 p.m., so the next Monday and the next 2 Wednesdays, the show gets altered a little bit, and we'll be at the youth fair. So we'll tell you where we're going to be at. We're going to be in one of the expos, because obviously we're going to be somewhere where we can be under roof, equipment, and all that good stuff. So we'll tell you exactly where we're going to be at. So if you're going out to the youth fair, you can come on by and visit us. So there you go. Devin says Furman upset UVA already. Yeah, it's college basketball, bro. College basketball is, it's just there. It's so even. There's so much parity nowadays that it's just really, I guess enjoy the tournament. That's all. That's all I can tell you. I mean, it's a weird dynamic, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a weird dynamic for anybody probably over 40, I would say, 35, 40, because really, if you're even 35 or 40, you didn't really get to enjoy a lot of great college basketball because the last 23 years hasn't been anything special. You got to go to the 80s and the 90s, and you were really young at that point. But for older folks, this is just not the basketball that gets us going. It's just not. You lose. You don't get to see Michael Jordan for 3 years playing college basketball, and you lose because you don't get to see Alonzo Mourning or Patrick Ewing or Larry Johnson or Christian Laettner and all these guys. You lose because you don't get to see them 3 to 4 years. See real stars playing college basketball. So that's why Furman will upset UVA, and you'll have all kinds because it's not so much an upset anymore. Really, we make it only sound like an upset because the name is Furman and the other one's Virginia. But really, look at FAU. They're just as good as anybody out there. They can beat pretty much anybody and upset anybody any single night. And that's college basketball nowadays. No stars and just no juice, unfortunately. The good thing is that this is a great betting month now for the tournament. That's the one good thing, that this is actually really, really good for betting purposes. But yeah, it's it's almost like throwing darts is what you're doing. That's you're just as you have the same amount of chances of winning throwing darts and picking anything than you are sitting there thinking you know something and you're actually going to pick the winners in all of this. It's kind of a lottery thing, if anything. We got a loaded show. Ira Winderman's going to stop by at 3:30, so we'll have some fun with Ira. Alan Pupart will join us at 4:15, so we'll get his thoughts. Dolphins continue to make moves. We got to go over several moves that they've made too. We've got all of that going on. We told you about our Youth Fair broadcast. We're here in the second floor of the Poker Room at Hialeah Park, like we are every Thursday. So if you want to come on out and join us. GP Trap, I don't know if he's watching. Let me see. I don't see him on the chat board here, but I don't know if he's watching or not. But GP Trap, thank you, sir. This GP Trap gave me this new hat, Inter Miami hat, and it's actually really, really sweet. So it's I like it. I like it. Has the Miami in it, and then obviously you see the logo. So really, really cool. Thank you very much. He wasn't happy with my other hat, so he wanted to upgrade, and here it is. We're upgrading now, and really cool hat. So thank you very much, GP Trap. Figured I'd wear it today. Today's my second day with my hair. So I washed it yesterday, didn't wash it today. So today's a good day to wear a hat and get the hat head that you get after you've been wearing it for a while. No hat head for you ever again. Sean went bald. He has shaved his complete head off. So he is now walking around bald. He gave in. He had a few hairs left and he said, not enough. Where we're all headed. We're all headed to that point. At one point or another, we will all shave our heads off.
I'll tell you, I went to the barber, sat in the chair, and they said $25. And I said, yep, that's it. Done. Not wasting $25 on this.
No, never again. No, yeah.
That's eggs now.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I got to feed the family.
Now you got it. Now it's the easiest way. Now you just shave it. So you paid for the first one and then never again.
No, I didn't. Well, yeah, I paid for this one because I was like, just cut it off now.
Right. Yeah.
Now hopefully it'll be able to. I got the little palm thing and.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, there's a palm shaver?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily, but you can grip it like a palm shaver and just goes
really?
Right. Yeah. I did the face, everything today. Just done.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Nice. Good for you. I'll be there soon. I don't know when, but it'll get there eventually. Eventually, the locks will be gone, and I will go bald too, at one point or another. Man, I mean, it's just a way of life, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Gus 1388, I see his first in. Brian Walters in. Steven Gonzalez is in. He likes Greer. And yes, you should like Greer. Greer's a hell of a coach. I mean, a hell of a GM. And I've said this for a while. It's just, people sometimes are a little unfair here. Terry Lynch is in. Isais is in. Stetson in. Tua the way. And that is the way. Tua is the way. Big O, when is Marcel coming back on the show? When you want to pay for it, if you want, come back. You want to get the sponsor to step up, we can do it. Pretty simple. I love how you guys just ask for shit and like you're not producing jack shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, super simple. Anyway, let's see. Rosendo in. Good afternoon, Big O Nation. Blessed is who has learned to admire but not envy, to follow but not imitate, to praise and not to flatter. You will be blessed the moment you realize you already are. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. Bradster is in. Kyle Cockrell is in. Gordon Shuway is in. Knight. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. We got my true return man wish list finished. Yep. A little Braxton Berios. We'll get to that also. We'll talk about Braxton Berios. See Dougie Fresh in, John Padilla, Giovanni. Also happy about Braxton, Spooky Myers, Bill Nugent, that is. Watch 2 episodes of the Crypto Bro Show. Good stuff. Oh, thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. I got to do more. My bad. I've got to come up with some more stuff, and I got a bunch of things in my mind that I want to get off also. So and we gotta educate some people out there. Unfortunately, they try to keep you stupid. It's what they do in governments all across the world. They try to keep you stupid about all kinds of things, and sometimes you will be stupid because you will fall for some of the shit that they tell us. Like Janet Yellen telling, "Oh yeah, no, the banking, our banks are fine. They can be trusted. We're good." Right? Sure. Yeah, keep lying to people. Dougie Fresh is in. Says we are from the same decade. Who can forget Villanova in '85? Yep, there you go. It's one of those things that it's just a different time. Unfortunately, Gordon says '80s and '90s NCAA tournaments were amazing. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, it's and people nowadays they can go watch a highlight of how it was and all that. They don't know. They don't realize how much more superior college basketball was in the 80s and the 90s to the garbage we have now. Because it is garbage compared to what we saw in the 80s and the 90s. What you're watching right now is garbage. Okay? Garbage. Compared to what was in the 80s and the 90s, this is garbage. Okay? But, it's all they can do is sell it. The good thing is 20 years from now, we're over 40 years into this weak ass system. So most of the people will be dead, and like myself, and so most of the people that really lived the good eras of college basketball won't be around anymore. So you'll get to, the public won't know any better. In other words, those of us that have been around, we know a lot better, tons better. So Spooky Myers is in. Not familiar with the old lineman they got. We'll get to all of that. Frankie Fresco, Tombstone. Lisa Rose says, afternoon, damn bracket busted already. Better stick to football. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, Lisa. It's really tough. So much parity nowadays, Let's see. Unless we have hair like Ronald Reagan. The Gipper had a good, yeah, he did. He held on to his hair forever, bro. Forever. Yeah, some guys are, some guys have all the luck. David Sorensen, awesome move on Braxton. Yes, sir. Emilio Hernandez is in. Nate G is in Monterey Bay. Jason Myers. I pick Furman in Maryland. Virginia plays a slow defensive style that always keeps opponents in the game. And Maryland has been tough versus top 25 teams. EJ Barro is in. No doubt, says Big O. Been listening on YouTube later in the day for about a year now. Great show. Generally not here to message live. Well, hey, listen, man. Thank you for you're the majority, anyways. The majority are the people that listen after and watch after and download after and all that stuff. That's the majority. It's a different group that's live because obviously they have the time. They're available at this time. You know what I mean? So it's a special group that, we're live at the time that they're available, which is cool. And this is our lesser show of the live ones because we always have better views in the middle of the day than we do, in the afternoon because this is not the show we do every day. So people don't get adjusted to it. So we're not going to get the same kind of viewers that we will at 10 a.m. when everybody's kind of used to, us being on at 10 a.m. Mel says, pay the piper. Exactly. Some people think this is like a joke and I do this for free and, a hobby or something, That's a business, man. Let's see. Back in the day, the running Rebels in the tournament was great. Yeah, that Duke and UNLV rivalry for 2 years. You'll never see that. This is garbage compared to that. Absolute garbage. This is a complete ripoff, what they're doing now to the public compared to what we used to get. Yeah. And I'm not being, by the way, I'm not going overboard by calling it garbage. It's garbage. Okay? College basketball compared to where it was in the 80s and the 90s, this is garbage. Okay? It's a nice little novelty, whatever, get into the schools or whatever, but the quality of basketball ain't jack shit. It's just nothing. It's just slightly above high school. That's what I see there, unfortunately. So, Big O with Rod Stewart Melody. Well done, sir. Thank you. Andy Cornell, time to sort out this O-line. They'll do that, my brother. Brian Ratke, we are a special group. Yes, you are. You are. The live group is very special. Very special. Very dedicated. Incredibly dedicated. People like Rosendo are on no matter if I'm in the morning or in the afternoon. Let me see. John Padilla is one of those names I see all the time. Pipeman Slim is also in here all the time. EJ Barro, Emilio, Frankie. There's a bunch of you that Kyle Cockrell, Jamie Zorrilla, Devin Jordan, Dougie Fresh. There's a bunch of you that are Gus 1388 is incredibly dedicated to the program. I don't think there's anybody more dedicated than Gus 1388. Jesus, man, that guy's amazing. He is all over the place. So, yeah, special group you guys are. There's no doubt. Tony Masker, thank you for the love on the super chat. And he sends me a sticker and everything. I love the stickers. Thank you. I deliver pizzas, so I tune in for approximately 2 hours. Okay. Thank you, sir. Hey, listen, you tune in for 2 minutes, 20 minutes, or 2 hours. Either way, Sean and I really appreciate it, and we love you for it, man. In my opinion, the best college basketball team to not win it all was Phi Slamma Jammo in Houston. Oh, my God, yes. Hakeem and Clyde Drexler and those guys, that was sick how they didn't win it. Yeah. Yep. We are close to losing AVG. Well, I don't know if we're close. I know he's visiting the Patriots. He's gone? I haven't seen it. I just got on, so for the last half hour, I may not know what the hell's going on. But I only saw that he was visiting, not that he's gone. But technically, he is gone because you haven't been able to sign him. So, yeah, he's gone. I don't know what it is that doesn't convince them, but I like him. I'm an AVG fan, and I know what a lot of you are thinking. Because I worry about it myself that, he's going to turn into a really good player with Bill Belichick and his defense. And if I'm Belichick, he looks like the kind of player that belongs on that defense, the kind of guy he uses, a playmaker, around the ball all the time, really smart. Effort is always there. I'm a huge Andrew Van Ginkel fan. I don't understand. I didn't understand the Matt Collins one last year. You know what I mean? And by the way, now that we think about it in hindsight, there was you don't have to sign Cedric Wilson if you sign Matt Collins. In hindsight. But nothing's perfect, bro, and nobody's going to be perfect, and nobody's going to make the right calls, and this was probably what I'm going to tell you is Mike McDaniel was not convinced with the kid, and he wanted somebody else like a Sherfield or what was the other guy that they haven't re-signed, the Craycraft, and that's where he went, and those were guys that knew his system, and that's what he felt like, and maybe now, what's this guy's name? Fangio is not a Van Ginkel guy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell. Well, clearly he's not, and neither was McDaniel. He was definitely not a Matt Collins guy. What are you going to do? The GM's only going to do what the coaches want at that point. If he doesn't think the guy fits or he wants somebody else, the GM has to go out and get somebody else sometimes. And you got to give Mike McDaniel whatever he wants to do. Right, he wanted Jeff Wilson, and he wanted Mostert, and he wanted Craycraft, and all the guys he wanted were productive for him. By the way, it's not like he added bad players. You know what I'm saying? But something about that was not good that they didn't like. I'm writing a dissertation and mostly at home on computer. This show is my sanity and my metaverse at the same time. Thank you, Dougie. You're awesome, bro. You're awesome. That's dedication too. Dougie Fresh is at another level, also dedication. Presence as a host. When I went to go visit him and Victoria at the bar, they had a bottle of Fiji waiting for me. You know, that's dedication there. Thank you, Dougie. Doug and Victoria are absolutely amazing, man. We need a freaking big O-line splash. I'm hoping that we don't have to wait until post-June 1 cuts. I don't know if there's going to be a big splash anymore at this point. I don't think they have the kind of money to make big splashes anymore. And remember, they're going to get $13 million more in cap space in June, and you've got to sign your rookies, and they still have to re-sign Christian Wilkins. They still have to give Sealer a contract. So I don't believe that there's any more big splashes going on. I think, we're at a point now where I think some of you have to come to the realization that they like these guys that they have. They're not ready to give up on Eichenberg like you have already. They're not willing to give up on Jackson like you have already, right? Because that's the attitude that's out there. All right, a whole bunch of you have given up on those guys already. You're done. You think they can't play, and those guys that actually coach this, they believe that they still have something there that they're going to be able to unearth, and we'll find out. The injuries took a toll on both guys, and that hurt their seasons. We're going to find out now if they're healthy and what they can do. Just to kind of go over it, they signed Dan Feeney, the guard, to a 1-year deal, the former New York Jet. He's 28 years old, third-round pick from the Chargers. They re-signed Garon Christian. He was waived by Kansas City in January, a third-round pick of Washington in 2018 out of Louisville, also a 1-year deal. They also signed Kendall Lamb. They brought him back too. So they added a couple of more linemen overall to the group that they have now. And that kind of tells me that the next splash might be in the draft. Might be in that second, third round now. See, here's where we're at now. You don't need a kick punt returner. You got it now with Braxton Berios. You're probably not going running back. There's a good chance now because you've got 4 running backs. You brought Myles Gaskin back yesterday. So now you have the same guys you had last year in the running back room. I'm sure there's a running back they like or two, but they've got to fall to them at that spot. And then maybe they'll think about it, and then that will then be a deciding factor with one of the bottom end running backs on the roster. But I would think now that tackle is in play in the draft. Tight end, I know they signed Eric Sobert, right? And he's a two-way tight end. He can block and he can pass catch, but he's nothing special. At least he hasn't proven to be special since he's been in the league. I think tight end is in play now. Okay? So I think tight end, I think corner, I think tackle is in play. These are some of the positions. I think linebacker also is in play in that second and third rounds. It all depends on what their need is. But I think that those kind of positions are the ones that could be filled in that second and third round. And they can go in many different directions. Tight end, I think for sure, is one of the directions they're going in. I just have a feeling because it's a deep draft at tight end, I think there's going to be a couple of them for them in the second and third rounds. And just something tells me that they're going to take a stab at one of those guys. But there are a couple of positions still of need, or for depth purposes, or bring in somebody else to really add. But I don't expect another big-time splash in free agency. I just don't think that's going to be the case. The next big splash will be Christian Wilkins' contract and Zach Sealer's contract. Those will be the next big splashes. They'll be from within those splashes. Let's see. Don't look for huge yards from Tua, people. Look for efficiency. We are probably going to be a more run team this season. Why would you say that? They're going to have huge yards. They're going to make big plays. That's what Mike McDaniel's MO is and has always been. I'm not sure what you're watching, my brother. By the way, Nature B is for me, baby, and we got a great deal going on with Nature B. I want you to check it out. We got a St. Patty's deal going on right now. And folks, I've been telling you about Nature B for a long time. This new deal here is freaking awesome. This goes through St. Patrick's Day. After that, we'll get a new offer going, 6 months, so you can feel the power of pollen. And I'm talking about added energy. I'm talking about boosting that immune system, muscle recovery after workouts, less stress, allergy relief, fuller hair, thicker nails, so many things, folks. 6 months of plant pollen, $160 bonus, and we're going to give you an extra month supply. All you got to do is use our code Big O. Go to naturebee.com/Big O, and you will get free delivery. It comes out to 69 cents a day. So you can get 6 months of the power of pollen, folks. You'll get the 400 cap supply for 3 months, and then we're going to give you an extra 60 cap supply. You're going to be saving yourself a whole bunch of money, folks. So take advantage of this St. Patrick's Day supply, 6 month supply, $160 bonus, extra month supply, and use our code Big O. Go to naturebee.com/Big O and get our St. Patty's Day offer. And I'm telling you, it's great for the adults. It's great for the kids. Can't OD on it. It's not a drug. It's all natural plant pollen. You can take 20 of them. You only need to take 2 a day. But if somebody goes and takes a handful of them, nothing's going to happen to them. They're just going to be really protected, and that's a beautiful thing. So it's great for the kids. It's great for the adults. You can feel good taking. I've been taking it for over 20 years. My daughter's been taking it for practically 20 years. I think we started giving it to her when she was like, it's like 6, something like that, 5, 6, when she started, going to school and all that. So I'm telling you, man, naturebee.com/Big O. All right. Let me see here. Night, tight end, tackle, guard, second, third, sixth, running back, wide receiver, CB, UDFA. All of those are in play, my brother. All of those are in play. But what they've done is they've filled a lot of the needs that they had, and they got a lot of really good pieces to go with the team that they already had. So there you go. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little basketball. Ira Winderman is ready to talk about the Heat's 138-point performance last night against the Grizzlies. Let's get to our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I remember what you once told me, Big O. You said at any point if the Heat win 5 of 7 games, call you immediately. Don't wait for Friday's Acura Pembroke Pines report. So here we are on a Thursday afternoon this time. And also because I have to fly to Chicago tomorrow.
And by the way, I didn't have to sit on the edge of my seat for that game last night. It was like one of the, I don't know, 2 or 3 games this year maybe they've had that they blew somebody out and there was like no doubt. That was good. Heat fans kind of needed that because they go down to the wire with every damn team out there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, it was the first time in 2 months they won by more than 6 points. They've only had 6 double-digit victories all season. And honestly, Big O, that tells you who they are.
I know.
There's certain teams that are good enough that they can impose their will and the game is over. Milwaukee, Boston, Philly to a degree, Denver we've seen this season. And if you're not, and if you don't have that level of greatness, it becomes a fight every night. It becomes absolutely exhausting. And in this league of sort of management control and trying to get players to the end of the season, Heat players have been pushing really hard this season because the way the roster is built, they have no other choice on a nightly basis.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And listen, yesterday, a good performance by Bam. Obviously, Butler's always putting together a terrific performance. Tyler shot well, maybe not great from 3-point range, but he still produced, quite a bit. So it was nice to see them beat a team. If they had Ja, I wouldn't say this, but without Ja, there's a team that you should be, and plus the ejection and everything, you should beat. This is a team that you
Desmond Bane got ejected, like you said, for his nut shot on Kevin Love. That was interesting. Clark was out for them. Steven Adams, a big body in the middle, hasn't played for a while now. He's been injured. Let's face it, Memphis has lost 12 of 14 on the road. So they were not a team that had much going in their favor. But, man, you at least take care of business. And here's the deal, Big O. You took care of this. You've won 5 of 7. You can't celebrate. There's too much at stake. You have to go in and beat Chicago. They'll be on the second night of a back-to-back, 2 home games on Saturday. If you lose to Detroit, I may never come back here again on an accurate Pines report.
Yeah, no.
Because the next week, you come home and you have games against the Knicks and against the Nets. That's sort of the last call for getting out of the play-in. You have 2 games against the Knicks. You have 1 game against Brooklyn. You can make hay in that time. Brooklyn tonight plays Sacramento. If they lose to the Kings at home, the Heat win Saturday in Chicago, it's 1 game. It gets real. It means something all of a sudden. So take care of business, number 1, and then show who you really are, number 2. You cannot afford to lose either of these next 2 games this weekend, Saturday in Chicago, Sunday in Detroit.
Oh, these are winnable games. You've got to take – I mean, if you want to they can't downplay this, and they probably will to you guys in public, but there's no way they want to be a part of a play-in game. There's no way they can feel confident that, for sure we'll get out of the play-in game. This is not a team that probably is carrying a lot. This is why this run is so important for them to finish strong, because they kind of need to find some confidence.
Yeah, and you make a really good point, Big O. Whether you get to 6 or not, if you go into the play-in riding high, it's a lot different than, oh my God, we lose tonight and our season's over and here we are, and it's April 11th or April 14th. So they need that confidence boost. They also need to find themselves. And we saw something very interesting last night. No Victor Oladipo. Why? Because he can give you the highest of highs, but also, Big O, the lowest of lows when he's out of control. What this team wants is, you know what? We're going to rely on Jimmy, rely on Bam, rely on Tyler. Everyone else, just play it even keel. It's kind of weird, but basically they're telling the reserves this. Don't go out and be awful. And last night, really, throughout that entire roster, maybe Omer Yurtseven a little, but no one was awful. That's all you need.
It looked like Love was a little bit more in a groove with the offense, too.
He has to hit his threes. When he hit a couple of threes, it makes a difference. He's in the Luke Babbitt role, where he starts each half and might not play again. So it really comes down to this with Kevin Love. Play well at the start of the first quarter or third quarter, you'll play a little more. Otherwise, unless your specific skill set isn't needed, you might not come back in the game. That's fine, because here's the deal. Even though this starting lineup is honestly, when it comes to net rating, not as good as the previous starting lineup, the bench no longer is awful. By getting Caleb Martin, you've mentioned this in our accurate Pembroke Pines reports all season, into his natural hustle role in reserve. By having a veteran like Kyle Lowry to get those second teamers positioned in the right place, you wind up a lot better. So it's interesting. Starting lineup a little less good than it was before, but the bench a hell of a lot better than it was before.
Yeah. You can tell Caleb is obviously more comfortable playing what he was, and that was kind of where he grew up in playing that role, filling in, for Jimmy Butler. And kind of Jimmy telling him, you need to be me when I'm not on the court. And to me, that's where he was growing, where I wonder how much this kind of set him back personally a little bit for Caleb. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it didn't allow him to start where he pick up from where he left
off with his energy and being an energy player. You know what's very interesting, Big O? Two things happened this year with the Heat starting lineup. They injected Caleb into the starting lineup until the All-Star break, and Tyler Hero. And I think both of those moves were net negatives.
Yes.
Energy guys off the bench against second teamers are completely different players. Tyler Hero fit that role to a T. Caleb Martin fit that role to a T. But like I tell everyone out there, here's the deal. You can tell me someone shouldn't start, but then you have to tell me who should start. For example, I've had a bunch of people tell me, Kevin Love's been marginal, been mediocre. He shouldn't be starting. And I tell people, who else? Give me another name. Do you really, no offense, do you want to rush Haywood Highsmith out there instead? You know that's Spo's not playing two bigs with Big Yurt and Bam Adebayo. So that's what happens is you almost have placeholders in your starting unit so you can get to the right man, 9-man rotation.
Although the screwed up part is, if we want to screw around with this, okay, so I don't like Caleb playing the power forward spot. I don't think any of us like that. But if you put Tyler on the bench and you put Caleb in Tyler's role, I don't know. That might not be so bad, because that allows Caleb to play his game in that role. Plus, he adds defense, something that Tyler doesn't.
You don't have shot creation.
No,
so again,
you're right.
It's who's starting and who's not. Now, maybe if Kyle Lowry starts again and he can create some shots, but he doesn't create his own shots. That's the thing. Look, this is a very unathletic.
If you're not a threat offensively, it makes it harder for you to be effective as a play creator. That's the whole problem.
And the burden falls on Jimmy Butler to back you in and pound you in. Look at the first half last night. Jimmy Butler, 10 of 11 from the foul line. Yay. The Heat up at halftime. Yay. But Big O, you know this. Through 82 games, even if Jimmy takes 15 off and a playoff grind, that's a hard way to win basketball games. And that's asking an awful lot of Jimmy Butler. I would like to see Jimmy Butler do that once a week. Right now, the Heat are asking him to do it 4 times a week.
Your thoughts on John Morant and his interview with Jaylen Rose? A lot of maturity in that interview, and he's taken the problem. Obviously, he has to live up to it now and follow what he says. But I do love the fact that he has been very proactive about this. And while some guys, they may limit the criticism of themselves in public while they're trying to make this transition, he has not. And he has been openly critical, and it's almost like he realizes, or somebody got to him to realize what he was doing wrong.
Yeah, but again, words are one thing, actions are another.
I get it.
Can a 24-year-old kid now go on the road, and every single city he goes to, hotel, shoot around, hotel, ball game, team flight, can he do that? Can he not enjoy the extravagances of the road? Can he reel himself in after a bad game when he wants to get away from it all? Can he get back to the hotel room? Some guys talk about the 4 walls when you're on the road a whole time and how it becomes too much and they have to get out. Some guys need those 4 walls. There's a reason when you're going for addiction counseling, you go to a place where you can't get off campus, where you have to just focus on who you are. So look, the words are all well and good. I did not like how it played out. And if I was Adam Silver, I wouldn't like how John Morant goes from a hearing with the commissioner to an ESPN-produced solo interview airing at midnight on the Scott Van Pelt show. Like, Big O, is everything
Superstar.
theater?
Yeah, superstar, man.
But is everything theater these days? Does everything have to be theater? Do you have to cash in on John Morant's misery? Why can't you just say 8-game sanction, can come back as soon as next Monday, is going to practice first, let's see it on the court, let's not see him in any police reports or any videos. And what I didn't like most of all was this. John Morant, when this whole thing started, shut down his social media. Now his social media is back. And I just don't think that's a good thing. And I think that's the first step in a bad direction. Because you know what? Social media might be fun. You and I use it to market ourselves for brand marketing and business. I get that. But neither of us go crazy on the personal stuff also. You can have a life without being on social media. I don't think some of these guys get that.
The Warriors, have you been able to figure out why they can't win on the road?
I just think they're in their comfort zone at home because they're a three-point shooting team, and it's always been natural that you shoot better at home in the familiar surroundings. But I don't think they are built for adversity as much as they previously were, especially with the injuries and Wiggins being out right now. Klay Thompson is not his full self. It's just interesting. Big O, there's probably 3 or 4 teams in this league that I would tell you are having a subpar regular season, but I'm still worried about in the playoffs. I still don't want to play. I don't want to play the Warriors in the playoffs in the first round. I don't want to play the Suns, who are careening right now, once Kevin Durant gets back. And honestly, and I know you're going to disagree with me of this, I don't want to play the Lakers because LeBron's been out and they've been staying afloat. LeBron's a really good player. And when LeBron comes back, that could change also. So I just think there's certain teams that are meandering their way through the regular season, being saved by the play-in, that the top 10 get some sort of postseason, and then they go from there. I see the postseason is setting up a lot different than the regular season. I think in the postseason, everyone might be firming.
It's crazy stuff. Who's the most surprised team for you in the NBA this year?
The most surprised team for me probably is the consistency of the Denver Nuggets distancing themselves from the rest of the Western Conference. There's 2 teams out west. There's Sacramento, which has risen through the ranks, but I think risen through the ranks because the ranks have come down to them a little bit also.
Yeah.
But Denver's been steady. And also late season, what Milwaukee has done lately. You and I talk about every week on our Acura Pembroke Pines reports twice a week. We're talking about it on redrecover.com Inside the Paint on Wednesdays. We didn't know who the best team in the East was. We spoke about Milwaukee. We spoke about Boston. We spoke about Philly. Milwaukee now has said, enough. We're the best. And that's what they look like.
Crazy stuff. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel leading up to game time tomorrow or Saturday?
Well, actually on Saturday. First of all, I wrote about Kevin Love and what he went through. And he says, anyone who's got hit in the man parts knows what it's like when you take a really bad shot from a really big guy. And he said, hey, it was back spasms. That's why he was doubled over. So we all feel Kevin Love's pain to a degree there also. Spoke also about the Heat's offense. That, look, I know it hasn't been great all year, but since the All-Star break, it's moved up. Since the last 10 games, it's moved up. Last 6 games, top 4 in the NBA. A lot of that has to do with opponents. But you know what, Big O? Not only are they winning now, but they're fun. And we deserve a little fun watching this team grind it out.
No, they can score. They're scoring lately. Yeah.
It's a fun show. This is what I wanted to see all season. So thank you, Miami Heat, because you know this team, Big O. They will not give up on defense.
Oh, no.
They will not give up on that end. But sometimes you got to give a little to get a lot. I think that's what you're seeing right now. I mean, holy crap, the Heat in the 120s this week and the 130s. Hey, enjoy it while you can.
I hope they can keep it up, and I hope they take care of business at Chicago and at Detroit. We'll see what happens. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have safe travels and enjoy the weekend, my friend.
And I'll be out Monday also, flying back from Detroit. So right back here, Acura Pembroke Pines on Tuesday. Thanks, Big O. Everyone have a good weekend.
You got it. There you go. Ira Winderman. And, of course, our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. We will be at Acura Pembroke Pines next Friday, broadcasting live. You can be there right away. You need a vehicle? 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. What, we're not going to be there next Friday? Oh, we're there tomorrow. I'm sorry. Next Friday, we're at KSDT. That's right. I'm sorry. We're there tomorrow at Acura Pembroke Pines. What do you want me to do? Anyway, they got a lot that is loaded with brand new vehicles and certified pre-owned vehicles. So check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And if you happen to own or lease an Acura, man, go see Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They do an awesome job there at that service center. They roll out the red carpet, man. Okay, they are absolutely amazing. It's just a great company. They do great work and they work hard for you guys. That's why they're the number one volume sales dealership in the United States. That's right, the number one volume sales dealership in Acuras in the United States. That is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the number one volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right, we're back. We thank Ira Winderman as always. And it's good to see him playing a little better, and they got to take care of it. I don't think they're really going to make much noise in the playoffs, but as long as they play a little better, man, it's just been it's not acceptable what they've been doing, you know. So big old Rick Allen got attacked in Fort Lauderdale. That's whack, bro. He's only got one arm. I know. I saw the whole story, and I actually sent Rick a text this morning. Tell them that, hey, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're, recovering, and speedy recovery to you. But yeah, it was disturbing. I mean, this is the kind of shit that happens like all the time. And now this happens to somebody famous. And for those of you that don't know, Rick Allen is the drummer for Def Leppard, and he was assaulted outside his Fort Lauderdale hotel. They had performed the previous evening at the Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, part of their tour with Motley Crue, who's stealing a lot of money, making fake music there. And the incident, by the way, took place in front of the driveway area of the Four Seasons Hotel. Allen stepped outside to have a cigarette. A police report obtained by Channel 7 details what allegedly happened next. Max Edward Hartley, these guys with three names. These guys with three names are sickos. They end up becoming like serial killers. Anyways, Max Edward Hartley, a 19-year-old from Ohio, ran full speed towards Allen and struck the drummer, knocking him backwards. The report further states that as a result of Hartley's actions, Allen hit his head on the ground, causing injury. A woman ran out of the hotel to help Allen. Wait a minute, I got some pop-up in my damn way. What happened now? Here. Jesus. You touch something and then another ad comes out. At this point, a woman ran out of the hotel to help Allen. She was allegedly struck also by Hartley and knocked to the ground. The woman then tried to go back into the hotel, only to be pulled back outside by her hair. Hartley then reportedly fled the area and was later arrested while vandalizing cars in a nearby parking garage. So clearly this guy's completely out of his mind. He's been charged with 2 counts of battery, 4 counts of criminal mischief, and abusing an elderly or disabled adult. I mean, this man lost his arm in 1984 and, overcame that to still stay as the drummer of Def Leppard. And he's a good dude, bro. God, he's a good dude. Just a nice man. It's a sick world, man. I was on social media, and there's this thing now where they run up to people and strike them in the head from the back and knock them out. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's a sick world. And the examples are there all the time. Look at that disgusting lawyer that killed his wife and his son. And I'm glad that they sent his ass away forever. They really should just juice him and kill him right there on the spot. That's what I would do. All these people that are charged with murder, you the second you're charged with murder, all right, get your 1 or 2 what's that called? When you challenge it, what's that called? Yeah, I'm brain farting now. Whatever. Appeals. So, you're entitled to an appeal, maybe give them 2, whatever. And once the second appeal is done, you head to the electric chair and you get zapped and it's over. I don't want your ass around for 30 years chewing up my taxes. Get your ass out of here, bro. You're a killer. Done. Flush your ass down the toilet in pieces for all I care. I'd save all of you a lot of money if I was in charge. Because all those murders, and there's no way you're living in a jail for 20, 30, 50 years. No. I'm not doing that. No. That's a waste of taxpayer money. You're a waste of space. You're even chewing up our free air. Get out of here. Although Herschel Walkerton, he thinks air gets switched around from China to here and all that. Yeah, he has a different theory on air. You may want to check with Herschel Walker's theory on air. Jesus, the guy who attacked Rick Allen is a complete scumbag. I hope they throw the book at him. Yeah. I hope they put him in a room with me. That's what I hope so. Then you can go give him whatever sentence out, whatever's left of him after I'm done with him, then you can do it. But that's really what I would like. I would like to be put in a room with that guy. So that way maybe he can suffer a little bit too. Would be nice. A one-armed drummer, I'd pay to see that. Well, you can pay to see it many times. Go to YouTube. It's there, bro. You can go see Def Leppard. And there's been a one-armed drummer there for almost 40 years now, actually. Right? Yeah, 94, 2000. Yeah, when we get to 2024, it'll be 40 years that he's been drumming with one hand, one arm. Yeah, because we're in 2023. It's in 84. I can't believe that it's 40 years ago, 1984. I can remember 1984 like it was yesterday. I mean, I can't remember everything I've done in my life. God, I wish I could. I don't have Mary Lou. Was it Mary Lou Henner, the one that was in Taxi, the redheaded one? Was it Mary Lou Henner? Is that her name? She's a really good-looking woman. I forgot her name, but look at Taxi. Anyway, she's got a photographic memory. Okay, I got a decent memory, but not photographic. I'm not going to remember every damn thing I've ever done in my life. I'm sure. Huh? No, she wasn't in Greece. No, Mary Lou Henner wasn't. It wasn't Mary Lou. Is it? Is it Mary Lou Henner? Am I right? She's in Greece. Just look up Taxi, and the only woman in the damn. She was in the production. Oh, the musical. Oh, okay. Yeah, she wasn't in the regular Grease. I've seen the regular Grease 8,000 times. Mary Lou Henner was so hot. So yes, I am right. Yes. She's like, she'll never forget a line or anything or a word or anything like that. She remembers every single thing in her life. I can't do that. I wish I could. Maybe I remember 30% of the things in my life. I don't know. What? Yeah. Abraham Lincoln called to agree that only psychos have three names. John Wilkes Booth. Yeah, bro. The guy that shot Reagan. Michael David Chapman, right? I mean, it's like, it's the weirdest thing. A lot of these, serial killers and all that, they've got three names. So some of you out there, you need to eliminate your middle name right now. Right now, eliminate it. Go down to the city hall and eliminate that middle name just in case. 80s and 90s best music era. I go 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. They're all strong in their own right. You know what I'm saying? So I would go in that. I would say all four of those decades. Everything that's happened since 2000 to 2010 and then 10 to 20 is garbage compared to the 60s, 80s, 90s, 80s and 90s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Those decades were so much better. My God. Even the 90s was a really good decade for music. It doesn't actually get enough credit. I don't think it's better than the 80s, of course. But man, 90s were good. 90s were good. Mary Lou is a savant. She is definitely fire. Yeah, she was. She's a smoke show. Total smoke show. Let's see. Michael David Chapman was a history teacher or O's history teacher. Oh, okay. I learned a lot from him. Lee Harvey Oswald. There you go. There you go. I'm telling you, bro. They're all over the place. And Ndamukong Suh also has a photographic memory for real. He never reads a reminder to stomp people in the nuts. His play is over. He remembers. How do I explain Sirhan? I don't. Well, you know what? People with two names that are the same, those people are screwed up too. That's how I explain it, Leon. Right there. I'm sorry. Who was it? Was it? Yes, Leon. That's how I explain it. Yeah, if you have the same name repeated twice and that's your name, yeah, you're probably crazy. Yeah. Favorite 1990s band, Dream Theater. It's a pretty good band to be a fan of. It's not bad. Not bad. So, the Miami Dolphins got themselves a returner, Braxton Berios. How about that, man? How cool is that the Dolphins got themselves a returner? They needed a kick and punt returner. Kick returning is not nearly as important because you all know you don't get to return a lot of kicks. But punts, you got a shot at returning a bunch of them. And he was one of the better punt returners in the league. He did a really good job. He signs a 1-year deal. It's a good move to get Braxton Berios. The only thing I got to say something here, bro. What's Cedric Wilson going to do now? He's got no jobs left now. That poor guy. I mean, he signs here and he thinks, all right, I'm going to play opposite of Waddle, Tua, and Mike McDaniel's offense, all that. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be fun. And then they go and acquire Tyreek Hill. And all of a sudden, he's casted aside because Tyreek Hill became available. And what's the team going to do? No, we made our commitment already. No, dude, they're going to go get Tyreek Hill because Chris Greer is going to try to win. That's why he goes and gets Jaylen Ramsey. And so you make that move, and the poor guy, I feel terrible for Cedric Wilson in that sense. Because as a professional, even though he's getting paid and all that crap, you still want to prove to people that you're worth that money, that you justified the signing and all those things. And a lot of people will be questioning it, which you really shouldn't because it's not his fault. They can't use him. What are you going to do? They got their guys already because they went and added Tyreek and Waddle, and there isn't a lot of balls after that. You got to throw to a couple of other guys, and unfortunately, so Cedric was the guy that was doing all the punt returning, or most of it on the second half of the season. And what's he going to do now? He's got to get traded either here in free agency or in the draft. They will try. So there was a report that the Cowboys regretted letting him go. If that is true, maybe they can get a 5th, a 6th, or 7th round pick for him just to unload the salary. Because remember, you're not going to get anything in return. You're going to get a pick back, a late pick, because they're taking in a salary. And that's what's going to end up happening. You're not going to get any real value for him because he didn't get to play last year. And then while he was in Dallas, he showcased his skills, but he was still a reserve. Here, he was going to be a frontline player. And then Tyreek gets here. Poor guy. I feel bad for him. But I think he will get dealt at one point or another. I expect him to get dealt. Probably in the draft. And they'll pick up an extra 6th or 7th rounder, 5th rounder. Something, nothing real big, nothing important. But at least you'll get an extra pick, I think, out of it. So Braxton Berios is here. That is a very good move for the Miami Dolphins. They needed a returner. They didn't have one last year. And maybe this is why Danny Crossman is still here. Because they felt a lot of his guys had to play defense and offense, and he lost guys. He didn't have his regular special teams unit. He never really had a returner. So maybe, and the fact that Jason Sanders was a little off. Jason got back on track at the end of the year. I will say that. Got to give him credit. So I think a lot of the stuff that went on, it seems to me that they looked at Danny Crossman and said, yeah, a lot of this stuff was out of his control. It's not fair to judge him. Let's bring him back next year. And maybe that's what's going on. And we'll see if they do have some health, they stay lucky and they stay pretty healthy, and you're not moving a lot of your special teams players to offense or defense, then all of a sudden you'll get to see the special teams unit play the way they're supposed to. You'll have a real returner in Braxton Berios, and hopefully Jason Sanders picks up where he left off at the end of the year last year in the last couple of games, where he really started to kick well and kind of looked like himself again, and hopefully that's the case. I would not be surprised if they bring in competition for him, but I'm sure you'll get some competition for Jason Sanders. And it might be in that 6th or 7th round, by the way. It might be a street free agent that goes undrafted. But I think you'll see a young guy come in to kick here, and maybe they'll stash him on the practice squad and everything if he doesn't beat out Jason Sanders. All right? Big O and Sean, come on. If you were serial killers, let's hear your middle names. I don't have one, actually. You have a middle name? What's your middle name? I don't have one, so I won't be a killer.
Sean Allen Stanley.
Oh, so that's right. The Sean Allen. Okay. All right. So Sean Allen Stanley. So be careful around Sean. That's all I'm saying. He did get into wrestling. So there's got to be a screw loose somewhere. So he's got the 3 names. I don't have the 3 names. Okay. So I will not go on a killing spree, unfortunately. No, I was never given a middle name. Nope. No middle name. Big O, would you sign that punter, Matt? No. Didn't he sign in one of the minor leagues or Canadian football? No, definitely not. Canada would not sign him. But he signed somewhere. I know somebody signed him. He's got to be with the USFL or the other league, the XFL. Somebody signed Matt Araiza because I saw it. I remember reading it. Again, I'm not Mr. Memory here, but I think I remember reading that he signed somewhere. If Jaylen or Tyreek go down, Cedric Wilson can hold his own if we're in a pinch. Well, Eric, it's time for Eric Azukama also. Okay? It's time.
Said they signed him.
So the Mexico team, a team in Mexico, but what? Oh, he wasn't? Oh, so that's what I saw. There was a report of a team in Mexico that signed him, and then apparently it's not happening. Yeah. No. He was cleared of the crime, by the way. He was cleared of the crime, but who knows if it was like a technicality thing, and so they still don't want to touch him. Lee Harvey Oswald, the one who shot Kennedy. Yes, sir. Yes. I thought Cedric Wilson was just a better, higher upside version of Devontae Parker. He is. He just didn't get to play. Once you traded for Tyreek Hill, the idea was Waddle and Cedric Wilson were going to be your starters last year. That was the plan. And then all of a sudden, they find out Tyreek is available. And kudos to them. They didn't say, well, we just signed Cedric. We're committed to Cedric and Waddle. No, they said, what? Oh, yeah, what do you want for him? And they traded for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really his fault. I don't blame Cedric. Cedric was put in a position that he just couldn't win, unfortunately. All right, it's 4:00. Let's get to hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show live from Hialeah Park, where they're giving away a Mercedes-Benz. It's a beautiful white Mercedes-Benz downstairs. The more you play the machines, the gaming machines downstairs, the more you play, the more entries you get. Plus, you have a shot to win the loosest slots in Florida. That is a fact. A statistical fact that is documented on the state website. Loosest slots. So come on down, play the slots. You'll get more entries in. You might win the Mercedes-Benz. They give it away on April 1st, on April Fool's Day. They'll be giving it away. So come on out to Hialeah Park. Hour number 2 is next. Alan Pupart will join us at 4:15.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Bono's leaving. You got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out. CuttersEdgePro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down. And the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Righty, we are back. Hour number 3 of the program. Number 2, I'm sorry, of the program. Appreciate all of you out there chiming in and supporting us as you always do, which is a beautiful thing. All right. What else do we have going on? So a lot of Dolphin stuff, man. We talked a little bit about the linemen that they signed. We talked a little bit about Braxton Berios now. One guy that is not here and not signed is Mike Gesicki. And it's a shame that Mike Gesicki is not signed. And it's got to be tough to be him right now in the sense of you and I know, those of us that are Dolphin fans and watched him, he's a player, dude. He's a playmaker. He's a clutch guy. He's tough. Okay, I know he's not a blocker, but he'll catch it in traffic and take hits. And Jesus Christ, in one game, 2 years ago? He almost made 3 one-handed catches in one game almost. Seriously, it was just sick. This guy's a hell of a player. But what's happened the last 2 years? You've played under 2 coaches that didn't want to use your skill sets because didn't fit their agenda. They weren't willing to accommodate since they didn't have anybody better, but yet they didn't use you, which is not good coaching by Flo and his staff and not good coaching by Mike McDaniel and his staff. And notice that Mike, at the end of the season, the last couple of games, all of a sudden started using Gesicki. And what was happening? He was making plays. But the problem is, if you didn't watch him every day, you won't appreciate, his career. And if you watched him under Gase, you knew that he could play. And he showed you that he could play. But the problem is the last 2 years, his stats are not there. So then you go out in the open market and you want to get the same 10, 12 million you got last year. And guess what? Nobody's willing to give you that because they're questioning you as much as the last 2 coaches questioned you, which is unfair to him, which that means everybody is lowballing him at this point. But they're lowballing him because they don't have anything tangible to lean on. Because from what they think the last 2 years is, here's a guy that didn't fit, couldn't fit, wouldn't fit. I don't know, but the stats aren't there. I know he has some talent, but what do I pay on potential? And that becomes a problem for Mike Gesicki. It is so unfair what he's going through, unfortunately. And let me tell you something. Mike Gesicki may end up signing a 1-year contract somewhere. Because if I'm Mike Gesicki, I don't have the resume the last couple of years because I wasn't throwing the ball. So I can't put up a lot of stats. I can't put up a lot of touchdowns. So I can't ask for a lot of money. And I think that's what's going on and why he's out there, because teams aren't willing to give him $12, $15 million or anything like that, because they might think he has the potential to be a terrific pass catching tight end. But because the last 2 years you haven't seen it, that hurts you right there. So I would not be surprised if Mike Gesicki signs a 1-year incentive-laden contract to go prove to the team he signs with and then the rest of the league. But it's what's imperative to him is that he has to go to the offense that's actually going to use him. And if he goes to an offense that uses him, then all of a sudden he's Evan Ingram. Okay? Evan Ingram, different type of scenario. He had a ton of injuries in New York, right? Never really lived up to the hype there, even though he was super talented and can run like a deer. But then he goes to Jacksonville last year, has no injuries. And guess what? Now he's rebuilt his resume back. And I think that's what's going to end up happening to Mike Gesicki. And that's the sad part, that he's probably going to have to settle for a 1-year contract somewhere instead of signing a low-balled multi-year deal where he's not going to make the money. He has one more chance to get a big contract. He can wait a year for that big contract, but he needs to sign in the right environment that will showcase his skills to then catapult him to that contract that could pay him some big money. It's a shame, man. Sucks, but that's the life that they live, and all of us. This is something that can happen to any of us in any walk of life, in any kind of business. All right, let's get ready. Let's bring Alan Pupart on, baby. Let's get to our EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins and NFL reports.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Pupart in our EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on a Big O radio show.
All right. There he is. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Yes, sir. Yourself?
Good, man. Good. I see the hat you have on. And it's funny what's going on in our backyard and in this country right now, the World Baseball Classic. And it's so interesting because Americans don't give a shit about the World Baseball Classic. Let's just be honest. We don't give a shit. But we see the passion, and in Central and South America and obviously the Caribbean, they're the ones that actually really carry this whole thing. It's a weird thing because it means everything to them, dude. Okay?
Without question.
And for Americans, it's like, yo, dude, we have our World Series. That's what it means to us, not this World Baseball Classic. It's a really odd thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and in an ideal world, you could make it like, because if it became a case where every country really built it up and really wanted to win as passionately as compared to the World Cup in soccer.
Great point.
There could be some hellacious tournaments because a lot of these Latin American countries absolutely could compete, if not win outright against the U.S. team. And guess what? People in Canada, especially right now, it's like in the thick of hockey season, heading towards the playoffs. They don't give a shit there either.
No, dude. No. In Canada, they'll go crazy if the Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series. Yeah. That's where they're going to go crazy. If a Canadian team is in the World Series, it's interesting how that World Baseball Classic means so much to certain people, and then to a whole fraction of others, it means absolutely nothing. While you were there in Q, I think you might have heard my conversation because, people are asking about Mike Gesicki. And sadly, the situation that he was put in the last 2 years didn't really allow him an opportunity to really showcase his skills on who he really is, because the offenses didn't fit him. So he's probably right. I think he's going to have to settle for a 1-year deal, right? And kind of reprove himself, because I doubt anybody's even offering him the money he made last year, dude.
Without question, and it was a lot more pronounced last year. I mean, 2 years ago, he actually, if you look his his numbers, unless I'm severely mistaken, it was career highs in catches and yards. Touchdowns weren't there, and last year the touchdowns actually went up a little bit. I think he had 5, but he wasn't targeted very much. He also didn't see the field that much. I mean, his snap count was his lowest either of his career or since his rookie year. But no, I'm totally with you on that. That what makes the most sense. 1 year, incentive laden, right fit, hope to put up good numbers, and then come talk to me again next offseason.
Yeah, and the agent and the player better nail the team. Like it does. Like money should not be the issue right now for him. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to go. All right, they're only paying me $5 million, but they're going to throw me the ball, and I'm going to be able to showcase my skills. And then I will. If he's haggling over money now, that might set him back from actually making a really big contract down the line, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, I had heard. I mean, the teams you had heard thrown around were like Washington as a possibility. I had heard Cincinnati as a possibility. I think he could do worse and go play with Joe Burrow. Yeah. But no, he's one of those which may be another reason why. I mean, no, it wasn't the main reason, but obviously he wasn't very thrilled about getting the franchise tag last year. And spoiler alert, not one player likes getting the franchise tag. They want that long-term contract. And part of it for him, I don't know, when he spoke to us in training camp, and again, he said all the right things all along, but if he doesn't take a degree in body language to know he wasn't happy. And maybe part of it was he sensed what was coming, that you guys are going to be killing my market value because it's going to be all about Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle, and I'm no longer going to be a factor.
Right. Yeah. It's I feel bad for him. Hopefully he gets the right place to showcase his skills this season and kind of get his career back on track. Braxton Berios, they didn't have a returner last year.
Love it.
And I know kick returner is not a big thing, but punt returner is. That you still need somebody that maybe can, help you some field position, and he did a really good job with that. You kind of were already commenting on it. Go ahead.
No, I love it. I think it's a very nice signing. In terms of the free agent acquisitions, I mean, to me, it's right up there. Even though it's a 1-year deal, I haven't seen the money yet. I can't imagine it's for a ton of money. But in terms of the value and the role that he's going to fill, I completely love it. Like you mentioned, he's a very good punt returner, kickoff returner. I'm like, I mean, who cares? It's like there's 3 kickoff returns every month, so who cares? And he's very serviceable.
At least you have a sure-handed guy back there. You have an experienced guy. Right. That's the good thing about that, at least in that sense.
No, I don't see any drawback to that move. He fills out your wide receiver core. I think what it may mean, and I kind of was starting to get a sense of Trent Sherfield, who my initial thought was like, that absolutely he would return. Number 1, he's got the history with Mike McDaniel. Number 2, he played really, really well last year. And then maybe what's at play here is the Dolphins want to make more use of Cedric Wilson, to whom they gave a pretty good contract last offseason, and he wound up getting a little buried in the depth chart. And if they allow Sherfield to move along, then they can turn around and go, Cedric Wilson, there's your spot right there as a number 3 guy. Go show us what we saw on film from Dallas that convinced us that we needed to pay you that contract.
Or you're going to move Cedric Wilson at one point in the draft for some back-end pick to unload that salary, and you're elevating Eric Ezukama, and you're saying, kid, it's now your turn to get it done.
Not seeing that at all. I don't. And one big major problem with Cedric Wilson is, I don't know if you saw, but there's like on the Twitterverse, there are more than one Dallas writer who has tweeted that the Cowboys kind of wish they had hung on to him.
That's what I'm saying.
It became an issue. Well, the problem is I have a hard time seeing anybody trading for his contract right now.
But they won't trade much, is what I'm saying. I don't think Miami can ask for anything except like a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder.
It becomes a salary dump.
It becomes a salary dump. That's all it is for them at this point.
But my point is, I'm not even sure that even if you almost give him away, that teams are going to want his contract. That's the problem there.
Well, if he's a productive receiver, you're not really paying him.
He wasn't last year. That's the question. So that's the thing.
I mean, that's not his fault. I don't blame him. I don't blame Gesicki for his numbers down. Sometimes it's a situation that you're in, my man. I that's a little unfair to him. He's a good player. It's just he didn't get the opportunity because, bro, he had two monsters in front of him.
I would know. Well, he got overtaken on the depth chart by Trent Sherfield, who was kind of like an afterthought signing. This is where I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in relation to Hill and Waddle, of course.
Yeah.
I'm with you there, but he got overtaken by Trent Sherfield, and I don't think the Dolphins saw that coming. And then training camp began, and it was like very clear that Sherfield was outperforming Wilson, and basically gave him no choice.
By the way, his he only gets $1 million signing bonus every year. He has a $7 million base salary. So,
Guaranteed, unless I'm mistaken.
Yes, it is guaranteed.
That's the problem.
But you can rework that. If you pick him up, if you trade for him, you can then rework that deal and give him an extra year and then back end that a little bit if you want to kind of lower that number. You could work it out. It could be, and then if you won't have an out the second year because you do have an out after this year coming up. You can get rid of him, and that is your out. That's a typical Chris Greer 2-year out. It's a 3-year deal, but it's a 2-year special. He pulls this 2-year special all the time, dude. He is a chief at that stuff. But
yeah, but here's the thing, though. You can lower his cap number, but you still got to pay him because
you still got to pay. Well, obviously, if you trade for him, you like him. As long as if you have a need for a guy, that's not a bad player to get as a number 2, number 3 guy on your roster. So it all depends on the team that needs, that player in there. That's what they're going to have to find. But I get a feeling they're going to try to trade him because of that salary slot. I think they're going to want to open up that slot if they can.
There's no question. I'd be shocked if they haven't worked the phones already trying to get it done. Unfortunately, I wish I shared your optimism that it can be done. I'm not sure that they can get somebody to take him off their hands.
All right, talk to us about the O-line. Obviously, a lot of people were waiting for some kind of big name. Well, the big names came in other spots, but your thoughts on all the linemen that they added here in the last couple of days?
Funny you should ask, because I wrote about the offensive line today on All Dolphins at alldolphins.com,
I know,
which every legitimate Dolphin fan should check out.
And bookmark.
And bookmark. So here's the deal. Well, first of all, because we're the Dolphins, you never say never. I'm going to remind everybody the Dolphins didn't sign Teron Armstead last year until March 25th, which was the second week of free agency. So just because they haven't done so yet doesn't mean they're not doing it.
And Tyreek also was late too, bro.
Correct, it was a trade, but that was kind of a different situation.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm kind of thinking that the Dolphins are kind of comfortable with the idea of running it back with the same nucleus, hoping for improvement from Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, hoping Dan Feeney provides competition at left guard or depth. They re-signed Kendall Lamb, Jerron Christian at right tackle.
And Feeney plays center.
Correct. He plays all 3 interior positions. Lamb and Christian as depth pieces at right tackle, and hoping that combination of those things, elevates the line. Where to me, but still the most important factor was going to be Teron Armstead staying healthy.
Of course.
And there's nothing really that can be done at this time of year to really address that, because he is, a foundational piece, a big time stud on that offensive line. You're not replacing him.
No.
There's nothing you can, obviously, other than taking care of his body, there's nothing the Dolphins can do from a personal standpoint to 100% protect themselves, because you can't sign another stud like that to play left tackle in case something happens to the Armstead.
And by the way, let's throw the caveat. Okay, I know he's injury prone. I get all of that. But if the son of a bitch can play, boy, he is a tough mother, bro. He's going to take the field. And that kind of character also is priceless too, because not everybody sells himself out like he does. So credit to Teron Armstead too, that he has some injuries, but man, if he can play, he'll fight through those injuries. And I can't say that about every pro athlete out there, that they do the same thing.
No, and he's great for the line in every intangible way possible.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He's, He's a great example for everybody. He's a mentor. I mean, zero issue with Teron Armstead. But again, as I said, to me, I think it looks like a case of hoping for improvement everywhere else.
By the way, it's a screwed up dynamic
What's that?
that we're dealing with here, okay? Because like last year, okay, first week of free agency, the Dolphins did nothing practically.
Sure.
And everybody was losing their effing mind. And then all of a sudden things started to fall into place. And they're like, oh, okay, we're much better now. And so it's kind of the same thing here in a different scenario, different way. People are losing their minds. You know why? They've moved on from Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg.
Correct.
A lot of the fan base has completely given up on those two guys. And the part that I think people, and maybe even some of our media members, have a hard time understanding is the guys that actually coach those guys, they haven't given up on them because they have not seen enough of those guys. And especially those two guys that you just talked about, they were riddled with injuries last year. So they didn't really get a chance to stay on the field and prove themselves. But somehow or another, when you talk to them, brother, they talk them up like they like these guys. They like Eichenberg. They like Austin Jackson. They see something in them. So whether it's Frank Smith or Mike McDaniel or whatever it is, that's kind of the dynamics that we're all battling because some of us have moved on, but we have to deal with the fact that they haven't moved on. And that's really the key.
And here's the thing. And for me, it's more evidence-based and because what they're going to say, this coaching staff, I think we've learned is all about praising players in public. They're not going to criticize. So the fact that they're publicly backing those guys doesn't mean as much to me as, look, let's be honest. If the Dolphins thought that Eichenberg and Austin Jackson would never be anything as offensive linemen, do we honestly think that they would be so stubborn as to not move on and make a move? I have a hard time believing that. So whether they get proven right or wrong, that's sure that could swing one way or the other. But clearly, it's not just lip service. They feel confident that either or both could get the job done and become serviceable, if not good, NFL offensive linemen.
By the way, we've got a couple of things here. John Lovett re-signs with the Dolphins. And Andrew Van Ginkel, Jordan Schultz just reported after a good visit with the Patriots, is now headed to the Raiders to go visit with them.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of tweeted. I didn't write about this, and I was remiss not to do it, but I answered a question somebody asked me what was going on with him. And I was told basically that the Dolphins are, go ahead, Andrew, you've been great and all that, but do what you got to do, that they really.
Fangio probably is not a fan.
Correct. But that he had interest from a couple of teams, and you and I have both talked. We both like the guy.
I love him. I love him.
If Fangio doesn't like it, like you said, if Fangio liked him, Fangio would have told Chris Greer, try to hang on to him.
That's all.
Yeah.
And somebody asked me about why didn't they go after another quarterback like what's it called, Andy Dalton or somebody? Well, maybe McDaniel doesn't like that guy. You know what I mean? In this case, it was more about bargain shopping, I think, with Mike White. It wasn't really about – I don't think they were willing to spend the kind of money that you're going to have to spend for Minshew, Dalton, or even Taylor Heineke, who got a 2-year, $20 million deal.
That's the one move I don't like. I'll be honest with you. I can't.
Oh, you don't like the Mike White one? Yeah, they went cheap.
They went cheap and
went to the dollar store. They went to the dollar store.
They have a quarterback with a history of injuries, and they got like a really, really good roster overall. I don't know. That's where you need to save money.
The problem I have with this is there's no quarterback that was out there that was going to save your ass anyways to be a backup. Teddy Bridgewater ain't saving your season
because he couldn't stay healthy.
Andy Dalton ain't saving your season.
I disagree with you.
Gardner Minshew ain't saving your season.
I disagree with you, Big O. Nick Foles came off the bench. Big O, Nick Foles came off the bench.
I get that, bro. And Nick Foles never did nothing again for the rest of his life. Never again did he do anything. I get it, my brother. The sun shines on every dog's ass every once in a while.
You're missing my point, though. You're missing my point.
What is the point?
My point is that I'm not on board with the idea of doesn't matter who you have. If something happens to Tua, the season's done. I'm not on board with that.
Okay, but that is the facts.
I disagree with you. That's fine. I disagree with you.
I don't think any of these guys. Andy Dalton had some really good teams in Cincinnati, and he couldn't do shit. He could never do anything. Whenever they get to the playoffs, he'd pee in his pants like he always does, like Ryan Tannehill does. Same thing.
It's also a different year, different season. He's a different guy. He played well last year for New Orleans. I disagree with you. I mean, I don't. So let's remember this. So if something happens to Tua where he's sidelined, then you need to tell your readers it's over. They have no shot. You're listening. That's what you're saying.
My man, I said that last year.
Okay.
With Teddy Bridgewater, I said it was over. I said if it gets to Teddy Bridgewater, it's over. You have faith in Teddy Bridgewater. I have none. I watched him play in Minnesota. I watched him in Minnesota with a running game, with an offensive line, with a tight end, with wide receivers, and he couldn't do anything. He's a pedestrian quarterback. He's never been anything.
Dude, he started 2 games, neither of which with Teron Armstead at left tackle. And then he got the biggest problem with Teddy is he couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. Okay. And again, we'll have to disagree to disagree. I am on the record. I am not on board with this notion of Tua gets hurt, they're done.
Well, how about this?
Go ahead.
If I'm Skylar Thompson, I'm like, yeah, baby, I got a shot now. Because, if you sign Minshew or Dalton, there was no competition. It was over. He was going to be the number 3 once again, and we're going to move on. If you bring in Teddy will be the 2 and he will be the 3, and we're going to move on. But you bring in a Mike White, if I'm Skyler, I'm saying, yo, man, I got a shot here. I can take this guy. And whether he does or not, I don't know. But if I'm Skyler, I'm happy about this signing. You agree with that?
Yes, and that to me illustrates the problem that I have with this signing. I mean,
I get it. I'm not arguing with you. They went to the dollar store, bro. I said it already. They didn't go to Kmart to go get Dalton or Minshew. They went to the dollar store to go get Mike White because they felt like they needed to use the money in other places. And in the end, see, here's the part that you keep leaving out of the equation.
Go ahead.
Their backup quarterback is vacationing permanently in Florida.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay, so why am I going to spend money on a big time backup and spend money $10-15 million on a backup when I can use that money for a guard or a wide receiver, a running back, or whatever? And if Tua goes down, I'm not going to go to Mike White or Skyler. I'm going to go call Tom Brady, bro. He's retired. He's not tied to anybody. And hey, Tom, are you busy? Come on down. You're the next contestant on the Dolphins are right. So, to me, that's your backup quarterback.
No, basically. That's a great point. The danger there, of course, is that Tom decides, you know what, I kind of like being retired, not having to deal with football.
Right.
Yeah, Dolphins, it's a good idea, but no thanks.
Right. No, you're right. He might want to stay with the kitten. Yeah. So,
no, you have no idea how much trouble those are.
He just wants to pussy around. I mean, he can do that. He can do that. Kittens are a load. You're right about that.
No, but Big O, that was a brilliant point you made. Kudos to you, my man.
I think that's why they did it. I think that's why they did it. And they're like, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like the owner lacks any money.
No,
so, you know what I mean? So it's like, come on, Tom, let's go. We need you. We're 8-3 right now. We're 10-1, and Tom's gonna go. Yeah, you guys are pretty damn good. Yeah, let me go over there and let me go do that. So I just kind of think that that's the case. And again, I don't really have a lot of hope for everybody else around him. Nick Needham is back. Okay. Deshaun Elliott was signed as a safety. Talk to me a little bit about some of the additions in the secondary besides, of course, Jaylen Ramsey, who you met today.
Yeah, that was an interesting press conference. Deshaun Elliott, thumper, played with Brandon Jones. It's funny because now he played with Brandon Jones at Texas, and now the Dolphins have 4 safeties, 2 from Texas, 2 from Oregon. Yeah. So what we need to have is a Texas-Oregon bowl game so they can go at each other. But Deshaun Elliott is a big thumper in that safety. And I'd be lying to you if I said I've studied his game a whole lot. I did look at his metrics in pass coverage the last 3 years, and it's not good. But reached out to my guy in Detroit who told me the guy actually played very well last year, and the secondary wasn't the same when he was out of the lineup. He had some minor things coming up late in the season. And interestingly enough, he could wind up competing for a starting job with his old Longhorns buddy, Brandon Jones. And based on experience, pedigree, and all that, I kind of be thinking Elliott's going to be your starter opposite Javon Holland. The Needham move, I think as we discussed earlier, he had no leverage on the open market coming off the torn Achilles.
Yeah.
Great pickup for the Dolphins.
Big time.
There's very, very little risk.
Great depth too, bro. If Trill comes back with Cater and Nick Needham, brother, you got a shit ton of depth there at corner. I like it. And they're all except for Trill, hasn't really proven himself. He was looking good in camp. But he was growing up. We were watching him from the year before to this past season, and he was growing up. But the other two have proven something. Hopefully Nick can come back. From Achilles is really tough. But our boy came back from it a few years back.
Cameron Wake?
Brent Grimes.
Brent Grimes, yeah.
Brent Grimes came back.
Did he come back from it? Man, that dude was good.
Yeah, he's a pro. He's a pro, and I think that Nick has a great attitude. Also, he's a pro. I think and plus he wants that big contract, so he's got to come back strong.
Yeah, no, and he's come up the hard way too. He wasn't drafted, even didn't make the roster initially as a rookie. He had to work his way from the practice squad, and he's made himself into a nice little player. The other guy who we haven't talked about, who is not in the secondary, but is a very intriguing pickup, is David Long.
Yes.
Who dude can play. He's got to take care of his body. Those comments I'm sure you saw from Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, tissue injuries. I know. I got it.
If that didn't bring up Devontae Parker in your head, I don't know what would. So it's one of those where they got him. 2 years for $11 million is complete bargain because the guy.
Well, it's because of the injuries. That's why I thought. I didn't realize he had missed that many games, and I thought he would get more money and more years out in the open market. And then when I saw it, and then I found out that he had missed that many games, I was like, okay, now I get it why he wasn't able to get more, because he's 26, and we had Blaine Bishop on.
Yep.
And Blaine was talking a little bit about some of these guys that and he thought that a guy like Long is really like now coming into his own, and he really liked him as a player. And Blaine Bishop is he was a badass in his own right, as a player. And so he talked up Long pretty well. I think he also thinks that here's a guy that's kind of got to tweak his body a little bit, and then from there on out. And this happens, by the way, to a lot of players when they get to this level and they see the requirements on their bodies, and then they have to then figure out how to stay healthy and what they need in order to stay healthy. Fred Taylor had a bunch of injuries early on in his career, and then he went on a run for 6-7 years, and he was healthy all the time. And that happens to a lot of guys. And hopefully David has got to tweak that part of that, because that's usually what it is. It's usually not that bad.
Yeah, he has to tweak, no pun intended. But that's a nice pickup. I like it. And he's a very, very good fit in Vic Fangio's defense, because the dude can cover. And that's something that they didn't necessarily have at linebacker before this move.
So did you watch the 3-minute video with Jaylen and X?
The one at the facility? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's very cool.
Did you wonder to yourself, and you can tell how X is so talkative?
Well, here's the thing, though. The backstory behind that, according to Jalen Ramsey, is this was not done solely for the purpose of putting out a video on the Dolphins social media network. That X hit him up. That they have a long-standing relationship.
Yeah. But
and X hit him up.
My point. That's my point. That with his boys.
Oh, that he talks with them. Yeah.
When you ask him a question or I ask him a question, we're going to get a 1 or 2 word answer, bro. I mean, like,
no, but
it
but
was
that's
like a
that's
different
because,
X, man. It was like, it was a cool X to get. It's like I want to talk to that X, bro. That's the X I want to talk to. That was fun.
No, and he'll be like that with us once in a blue moon. For the most part, he'll talk to the media because he has to talk to the media. You can tell he doesn't necessarily like it, and that's fine. Not everybody has to enjoy it, but they have a cool relationship. And the common thread is Corey Coleman, former Baylor wide receiver,
right?
Got drafted with the Browns. No, and those two guys have the potential,
And they're talking about being the best duo in the league, which they've got to definitely have an opportunity at that. I know X is going to be super motivated next year because he knows the Dolphins will cut his ass at the end of the year. And if he wants to stay here, he's going to have to play well. And if he gets cut, he's going to have to play well because he's going to need somebody else to sign him, to make some money. So you're going to get a motivated X with Holland and Ramsey back there. Holy shit. That's going to be awesome to watch.
Yep.
Like, I do not fear Aaron Rodgers whatsoever with that secondary. That's all I got to say.
I don't know. I don't know if you need to fear anybody. If you don't think Aaron Rodgers makes the Jets dangerous, I think you're crazy.
No, he makes them dangerous. Although I still think that thing's going to be a mess. When I heard that interview yesterday, did you saw the interview yesterday? So he told Pat McAfee that when he went into the retreat, he was about 90% retiring, 10% on playing. So as Van Halen would say, you got 1 foot out the door. That's not good, bro. That's not good.
No, but here's the thing, though, that I'm gonna have to be careful how I say this. I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but that dude is so wired differently that he could go from one end to like become completely disinterested and not give a shit 2 weeks into the season, or he may carry that chip on his shoulder. I mean, because he talks about like, I'm not offended. Dude, who are you kidding? You are the most easily offended, player in the entire NFL. That's by true. 8 times. I mean, oh my God. You're right. So who's to say that he doesn't carry that slight, oh my God, the Green Bay didn't want me anymore the whole year. Like, let me ball on and go win another MVP just to show them. Ha, Packers. I mean, you don't know. To me, it's one extreme or the other.
Yeah. It's just, I just find it kind of weird that if you're already 90% retired and now you're going to go play and you got to then kind of motivate yourself, and then you're going to have to deal with the New York media and all that stuff. And once he says some wacky shit, oh man,
which you will.
Which you will, and that's why I think that I think it's going to be a mess. To be quite honest,
I'm very intrigued to see how it plays out. To me, I think I don't think there's a middle ground. I think it goes
right
catastrophe or they make a deep run.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right, what are you working on alldolphins.com so folks can check you out, my man?
All free agency. I mentioned the offensive line. I'm about to update the tracker. I got the takeaways from the Jaylen Ramsey introductory press conference, complete with some video clips. We have a story analyzing what Braxton Berios will bring to the Dolphins and why he's Wes Welker 2.0.
All right.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah, of course. That's only for the next 2 hours.
Exactly.
Okay. By tomorrow, there'll be 77 other articles. So make sure you bookmark alldolphins.com and catch him twice a week. You're doing his thing with the EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report. As always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up next week. Have a great weekend.
Sounds like a plan. You have a good weekend yourself.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Alan Pupart, baby. Our EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Pupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJD Construction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Those of you in Dade and Broward counties, if you're actually, trying to get your new policy, your new hurricane policy, you're running into some issues, right? Some of you that have homes that are older than 20 years, they're saying, hey, you got to upgrade your roof or we can't renew your policy. Call EJD Construction in Dade and Broward counties at 305-433-4843. I promise you, I've seen this man's work firsthand. Last studio that we had, he built for us. A wall that in my house, he rebuilt that wall. I've watched him do all kinds of things for some of our listeners, from an observation deck to an extra room to remediating an entire home after a fire. I mean, there all kinds of work. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, and fully insured liability and workers' comp. So anyone that steps on your property can never sue you, baby, because they're fully insured. By the way, if you don't hire EJD Construction, make sure you hire someone else. And if you do, make sure they're fully insured like EJD Construction. If they're not fully insured, do not allow them on your property whatsoever. 305-433-4843. That is his cell number. Call Eric right now, 305-433-4843. Tell him that Big O sent you, or save it on the cell phone, 305-433-4843. Let's see. What do we have here? Man never runs, kicks back, always a fair catch. Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I guess they're talking about Braxton Berios or something. Is that what they're saying? Oh, Cedric Wilson. Oh, yeah, he didn't have a lot. Although in the playoff game, he came up with a clutch one. He had a big-ass return in the playoff game. It's not his thing. He wasn't signed to be a punt returner. He's just being a good teammate. To pick on him is ridiculous. That guy was just put in a terrible situation, man. He was supposed to be a starting receiver, and then Tyreek Hill becomes available. What are you going to do? I'm just glad that we have a general manager that says, Tyreek, yeah, let's do it. Some general man, we made our commitment to Cedric already, and like if you were working for Spanos in the Chargers or Brown for Cincinnati, and you already signed Cedric, you weren't going to be able to make the move for Tyreek after that. Those owners aren't going to do it. So, yeah. Anyway. What else do we have? My son just informed me that he is bringing me to Miami for a game in October. My first time to a game in Miami. I can't wait. Good for you, Dave. Good for you. And you're going with your son? That's awesome. What do I think about the two linemen they just signed? Depth, my man. Depth. That's it. Depth. Nothing more than that. Let's hope that they don't have to play. Let's hope that the line has luck and stays healthy. But Dan Feeney, Jerron Christian, and Kendall Lamb, two of them were already with the Dolphins last year. Feeney's kind of the new one out of the three. Yes, sir.
Did you see what Samini, the Jets guy, the ESPN Jets guy, said?
No.
He was like, Braxton Berios got signed because he was on Mike White's wish list. He put the wink and all. He was joking,
right,
100%. But it was funny to see.
That's funny.
Like,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And he said Finney too. Finney was also on the wish list.
There you go. Mike White demanded that they sign a couple of his guys from the Jets. That's funny. That's good. Yeah. They were wearing Mike White shirts. Let's see. Per CNN, says Karen, they determined the animal with the longest neck ever recorded in China. Didn't realize Mike Glennon was Chinese. You learn something new every day. That was good. And CNN is usually like completely misinformed. So that's pretty good information from a place that gives misinformation all the time. Not bad. Listen to CNN and Fox and be misinformed. Love that. Let's see. What else do we have going on? So Jaylen Ramsey and Xavien Howard. Let me tell you something. This is really cool. Of course, it's super cool to have two great corners. Okay, we all understand that, and I can't wait to watch X this year because I think X will be super motivated. Okay, he was injured last year. You can tell he was toast, and hopefully he doesn't have any injuries next year. But he will be motivated, and with Ramsey here, he'll be even more motivated because they're friends. So each guy is going to motivate each other. Each guy is going to push each other. And then when you see that video and you watch their friendship, like it's a real friendship. Like that's really cool that these guys have known each other since they got drafted. Jaylen was at X's workout, and they've actually stayed in touch throughout the years. X again, you watch that video, okay? Let's play a little X here. Which is the first one you got on the? Here's X talking about the best duo in the NFL at cornerback. Go ahead, fire away, my man.
When I was hitting all the trade rooms and stuff like that, I DM like with the eyes. I'm like, bro, let's make it happen. And look what happened. He made it happen.
Told you.
Yeah.
I was talking like all of y'all. I said, man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Yeah. Man.
I was trying for weeks, dog.
Right. Now we got it. It's gonna be the best duo. Remember that.
Remember that. X doesn't do this. He doesn't boast. He doesn't predict. He doesn't talk smack. X just goes out and plays. He's like super quiet. And the relationship between those two guys, it's really cool. And I think it's really important because I think it gives X even more motivation to go out there. Remember, these guys deep down inside, all of them, anyone in the NFL, most of them, all right? 99% of them, I'm going to say. They're pros, man. And sure, they make their money and all that, but they want the glory and all that, but they also don't want to be embarrassed. They want to be able to play and showcase their skills and prove that they're some of the best. And so Ramsey will force X to be his best. X will force Ramsey to be his best. And then you throw in Jaylen Holland in there. My Lord, that's going to be a lot of fun. So you've got X there now. X talking on right. Oh yes, that's right. On the initial meeting with Jaylen Ramsey. Go ahead.
Learn from each other.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I remember the first time. You remember I came to your pro day?
Yeah.
I came to your pro day because
I
remember over there with Corey.
Yeah.
Yep. Came to your pro day. You did your thing there.
Yeah.
Then we both got drafted that same year.
Right.
Ain't never think
low key the old heads.
I'm telling you.
I get tired of hearing that, bro.
Low key. I ain't never think we was gonna be on the same team,
right.
though.
I couldn't believe it, bro.
Man.
I couldn't believe it.
We
made it happen, man.
We gonna get the best out of each other.
No,
we
for
competing.
Real.
Really cool. Just really cool. You don't really see that a lot. You know, when guys meet, it's usually their first time. They don't really know each other that well. I think this is just absolutely awesome to see that. And for a Dolphin fan to be able to watch Hill and Waddle on offense and X and Ramsey on defense. And I got I don't want to even forget Jaylen Holland because I think Jaylen Holland this year is going to have, it's a short career. He hasn't been in the league very long, but I think it's going to be his best year ever. And he's going to have the most interceptions he's ever had because those two guys are going to create all kinds of havoc. And you're going to have to pick your poison. You're going to have to throw to one of them. Okay? And some tells me the nickel corner is going to get a lot of work. All right? A lot of work. This is going to be fun, man, to watch those guys play. Jaylen was terrific in his press conference today, answering all the questions, talking about how, because, they talked about how what they asked somebody, I forgot who was it that asked him, because X is quiet, and then, obviously he's not. He's the guy that kind of runs his mouth. So I think he even went out of his way to mention Christian Wilkins, right? I think kind of like he said, like him and Christian will be, probably the ones that are talking a lot out there. And Christian does his talking, but he lives up to it, and so does Ramsey. But it's funny how they are two polar opposites. But remember how I just told you one's going to bring the best out of the other? Jaylen already brought personality out of X. Okay, I don't mean to be, negative on X in that sense, but X doesn't really bring personality to any of his interviews. His interviews are very plain Jane, very lame, very one-word, two-word answers, doesn't give you much. And he sees Jaylen, and he's lighting up like a Christmas tree. I just think it was a really cool video to see. And then to watch Jaylen in his Gucci outfit out there addressing the media and, talking about how much he wanted to be here. That's the other thing, how much he wanted to get out of that situation and come here, and how much he wants to be great, because he's great, but he wants to be one of the greatest. He wants to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. How do you do that? Well, you got to end strong here. And let me tell you something. If the Dolphins end up winning a Super Bowl and Jalen Ramsey established himself with Jacksonville, went to the Rams and won a Super Bowl, then gets traded to Miami and wins another Super Bowl, I don't know what more you need for your resume to end up becoming a first ballot Hall of Famer. But if you want to become one, taking this team to a title and winning and playing at a high level, which I would imagine the Dolphins aren't winning a title if Ramsey and X aren't playing at a high level. But this is how you become a first ballot guy, when you're able to do things like this. Deion Sanders went from the Niners to the Cowboys, and he won titles with both. Charles Haley, I believe, did the same thing, right? I think he won titles with San Fran, and he won, with the Dallas Cowboys. And that is a sign of true greatness. You saw Tom Brady, right? He went from the Patriots and went to the Bucs and won a title. That just takes you to another level. And if Jalen Ramsey wants to be that first ballot Hall of Famer, leading the Miami Dolphins to a title would be the perfect way to be able to get it done. Good job, man. That was a lot of fun to watch that. All right, it's 5 o'clock. Hour number 3 is next right here on the Big O Radio Show, live from Hialeah Park.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slowman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Be there, there, be there. 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 Be there, there, be there.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane, Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJD Construction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJD Construction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams. Very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Ready to rock and roll. The final hour of the program from Hialeah Park, baby. We're in the second floor poker room. So come on out and enjoy yourselves. We got all the poker tables out there. Lovely ladies will serve you the drinks and the food, too. You can actually eat. So you can do that. We got downstairs, got all of the slots going on, the loosest slots in all of Florida. No casino has looser slots than right here, Hialeah Park. So you got a better chance to win with the slots here than in any other place. Plus, we have the smoking hot slots outside. It's under roof and everything. They've got all kinds of ventilation and fans and all that. It's really cool in there overall. And you can smoke there because you can't smoke inside the casino. It's a smoke-free casino. So while you're playing blackjack, you ain't got anybody, poker or whatever. You ain't got anybody blowing, smoke in your face and all that kind of stuff. So it's a smoke-free casino. So come on out here. If you've never been to Hialeah Park, come on, man. This place is like an institution. It's like historic. The architecture, the landscaping, everything. It's just awesome. So come on out here and check it out at Hialeah Park. And they've got a beautiful Mercedes-Benz downstairs that they're giving away on April 1st. So the more you play on the slots, the more entries you get. And good luck to you. Give me a spin, at least, if you win it. You know what I'm saying? Give us a ride. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And I love me some Bitcoin donation, okay? If you can make a Bitcoin donation, that is my favorite kind of donation. But any donation is a good donation, as True Fin Fan sends one in on the Super Chat. He says, hey, brother, I'm hoping you can help me. What was the decade the Jets had a dynasty? Slips my mind. LOL. Man, they were great and memorable, huh? Yeah, Jets have never been ever a dynasty. They got their one championship, and that's about it. They don't have too much to brag about. They don't have too much of a history, period, as it is. Big O, do you know when the dates for the games for Dolphins gets released? No, I don't. I love your enthusiasm. Like, we had a listener yesterday, the day before, was asking, so what do you think they're going to do with this player? Have they talked about, the game, the game plan for, and it's like, I love your enthusiasm, but we're not going to know. Nobody's going to know. And anybody that tells you they know, they're lying to you. Because no coach is going to say, well, we're going to use David Long this way, and we're going to use this guy this way. We're going to use this guy this way. They're not going to tell you. You know what I mean? We got to have a little patience and wait. I love your enthusiasm, but, those are things that aren't answered right now. It takes a little bit to get that answered. So we shall find out. And we'll find out when the dates are released and what teams and what cities are going to be in and all that good stuff. You know the teams they'll play, but you don't know the dates yet. And they're probably in the middle of, I think they wait till free agency and the draft is done, and then they kind of set it up for some of the juicy stuff. Like somebody said Kansas City and Miami to open up the season. That would be actually really cool. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. Oh, you mean a rematch of the Super Bowl is what you're saying? That's what they'll do?
No, they were saying since KC won the Super Bowl, usually the Super Bowl champion opens up the season, so the Dolphins are on their schedule, so it makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
The way the Dolphins are the roster.
That would be cool.
Especially the first game of the season, because you're going to have
Tua.
Should probably have every weapon there regardless. You know what I'm saying?
And Tua, specifically, which is
as you
what
get
everybody
further
wants
into
to
the
talk
season,
about.
you're
right.
This is the one time where you can have Ramsey and Howard and Waddle and Hill and Tua and
because most of them don't play anyways in the preseason.
Fangio's defense against Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of little nuggets there.
Yeah, a lot of storylines in all of that. Yeah, I'm with you. Big O, would you trade Wilkins for a mid-first pick and a third so we can get two players? No, I would not, Richard. You you don't trade franchise tackles. You don't trade Christian Wilkins, dude. You drafted him at 13th overall, and look what he's turned into. No, you don't. You sign him because he's a game changer on defense. You know what's always been a game changer for me for over 20 years? Nature B has been the game changer in my life. My wife, my daughter, my entire family takes it. And Karen is so nice to join us right now. Karen Cook. Karen, how you doing?
Hey, Orlando. It's great to be here. I guess beaming in from New Zealand. G'day.
That's right. That's right. And I've been beaming in from New Zealand for over 20 years with a little Nature Bee. And I swear by it. And I always tell Karen, I tell everybody, boosting that immune system. I rarely ever have a cold. And doing this every day, I've been doing this for 33 years. In the last 20, you know how it is. When you have a cold, it's hard to talk. Can you imagine talking 3 hours a day? It is.
Oh, man.
Yes, exactly.
It's gotta be brutal, right?
Exactly. So Nature Bee keeps me from all that mucus. It brings me down, and I love it, man. And listen, if you are in an office building with a lot of people, we're in a virus-filled world now. Nature Bee is more important than ever, whether we're talking about dealing with stress. I mean, there's so many things. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Nature Bee.
Well, that's a great question, Orlando. Look, it's a family business. So you know my dad real well. We call him Cookie. Okay, so it's family-owned business. We've been going 25 years. But look, I came into the business 3 years ago. And my role, I'm a director in the business, but my role is primarily, it's a bit of a fancy title. I'm a global consumer advocate for Nature Bee. But what that really means when you break it down is my job is to basically talk to people about the benefits of Nature Bee and to really just open up lots of communication channels so that I can tell the great news about power pollen and just share lots of great customer success stories about the many benefits of power pollen and, why bee pollen is such a game changer for many lives, both young and old. And so that's what I do. That's my day-to-day role. And I've come out of a creative industry, out of advertising and media like yourself. I've done some time on the radio, and behind the camera, like on a bit of tele work and so forth. So it's a great job. It's got a lot of texture, and I just love it because I feel like what I do every day, it's helping to make a difference in the health and well-being in the lives of people.
Well, it's made a difference in my life since your dad told me about it over 20 years ago. And folks, we got a St. Patty's Day special going on right now. 6 months of Power of Pollen, baby. You can feel it. $160 bonus, man. And we're going to give you an extra month supply. All you got to do is use the code Big O, baby. And it comes out to 69 cents a day, which is just absolutely a joke. I mean,
it's a great offer. I know it's our best popular offer ever, Orlando. I mean, it's a savings right there of $39.95 plus free delivery. So it is a fantastic offer to feel $1 million a day. Feel $1 million right every day. So it is a great offer. But I have to say, I mean, do your listeners know much about why taking power pollen is so important? I mean, from a sports, even from a sports and recovery point of view.
Sure. Tell them a little bit about it, because I don't think people realize the power of plant pollen and all the benefits that come from it. That's the thing. Yeah. And then and you know what? There's all these other pollen supplements out there, and you and I know they're not potentiated. They don't do it the right way. And so that's what separates Nature Bee from everybody else. So tell them a little bit more about that, Karen.
Well, you bang on, because not all pollen is created equal. So we potentiate the pollen, which means we crack open that outer cell wall, which means the goodness of the pollen from the inside out becomes more bioavailable. So it's a little bit like eating a walnut. It's not going to be good for you. You're not going to be able to digest the goodness of the pollen. So right there is a massive difference in that you're going to get the benefits straight away from the pollen. Pollen's a superfood. It's nutrient dense. So it's absolutely packed full of vitamins and minerals, 27 vitamins and aminos, 28 minerals. So, I mean, it is an amazing superfood. Forget all the vitamins and minerals that you are taking. You don't need to take a handful of, pharmaceuticals. Get straight into Mother Nature. It is an A to Z incredible.
And you're spending a lot of
superfood.
money buying all of those vitamins when you don't
That's
really
right.
have to buy. You can save your money, what Nature B is going to do is cut your budget on all those vitamins, and
Absolutely.
save you
And
some
and
money.
it's the synergistic effect, right, of the many trace elements and minerals that actually do the job, and you
Right.
experience all over body wellness. The other thing is, if you're on that kind of active dimension like I am, I don't know, for all those people out there that actually like to play tennis, run, cycle, and do a round of golf every day, and you're physically active, but you're kind of in that 50 plus domain, and you need that cellular repair and you need that recovery, but you want to do that endurance stuff. Bee pollen, there's been a lot of studies done on the power of bee pollen for those in that endurance domain in terms of recovery, improved heart rate. And you just have to see racehorses and greyhound racing to understand the benefits of bee pollen. Muhammad Ali, he had, the world champion boxer, he had a rich diet of bee pollen through his entire career in boxing. So there's a lot of track athletes that take bee pollen, Olympic trainers that would put their runners on bee pollen. So do your own research on it. It's an incredible superfood that just powers athletes, and sort of repeat performances and subsequent performances, which really speaks to that endurance piece. So if you're somebody like me that actually likes a fit and active lifestyle, I really can't endorse it more highly. And I'd say do your own reading. It's great. It's just great. It's super potent. An incredible product. The other thing is, Orlando, that we really back our product, and you'd be completely familiar with this, right? We offer a 100% money back guarantee, right? So if it doesn't work for you and you get to the bottom of the jar and you say, hey, this stuff just did nothing for me, we actually give you your money back. That's incredible, right?
Yeah.
After 25 years, we're still doing that.
And they don't believe that, and you do it all the time. And then the other thing
Yeah.
I get asked a lot, and I'm sure, Karen, you get it asked too, how long does it take to work? You know what I'm saying?
Look, that is a
And,
great
and
question.
because of the potentiation, explain.
Yeah, look, you're right. And it's not like a Red Bull, right? Or a coffee. It's not like, boom, oh, I feel great like within 5 minutes. It is a natural product. So you take it, you have to wait about 3 weeks to feel something. And what will happen is you'll go, oh, I don't actually feel smashed at 3 p.m. anymore. You'll actually feel good at 3 p.m. like you did at 9 a.m. when you wake up and you feel fresh. You'll actually have that sustained, even energy all day. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for you to have optimal energy all day long, that natural, fresh energy all day long. So you'll be booking your round of golf and you'll be playing tennis at 3 p.m. You won't be doing all that stuff just at 9 a.m. in the morning. So think about sustained energy all day, every day on Power Pollen. That's what we're aiming for, not the peaks and troughs that you get, on coffee or on Red Bull.
Well, and then there's that down after that you just crash, and it's just absolutely brutal.
And it's great for men's health too. I was just going to say the zinc is like brilliant for men's health. It increases testosterone production. It's great for thinning hair and brittle nails. If men have got infertility issues, it's fantastic, for that. Look, there's just so many reasons why bee pollen, supports men's and women's health too, of course.
Right. Definitely. I know you love, working out. You do a little tennis, a little cycling. I still have, by the way, a bike that Jeff left here at my house. Yes, I have one of his bikes at my house from like 15 years ago or something like that. And I don't know, it was a long time ago. But how much does that help you with energy?
Oh, it's huge. Like I push the limits every day pretty much. I mean, I've got to like force myself to take a recovery day, It's brilliant. I take 4 a day because my output's pretty high. And people say to me all the time, like, where do you get your energy from? They're kind of scratching their heads because I'm more in that endurance domain than that hit domain. But I find that it's brilliant for me. It's also really great. It's a bit of a mood enhancer as well because of the polyphenols in it. So I find like it really evens me out. Look, when you get to kind of 50 plus, you just need it.
Yeah.
It's just great. Like us ladies, we need it at this time in our lives.
We all need it, Karen.
Hormonal, we need it.
Life
I
kicks us
really
in
can't.
the butt every day for 50 years, and it gets to a point where you're a little lower on energy. So it's crazy
that's right.
stuff.
And just even hormone regulation, right?
Yes, that
Yeah,
too.
I mean, for us gals, I can't recommend it more highly. So if you're out there and you're listening to me, I would say, really give it a go, because it's 100% natural. We back it. We're saying if it doesn't work for you, we will give you your money back. But we've been in business 25 years. We are a household name around, in the markets that we're in. And we just think that it's a highly rated product.
And by the way,
those bees just keep buzzing.
Too.
And it's from Clean Green New Zealand.
That's right. It's Clean Green New Zealand, and it's great for the kids too. So everybody in the household can take it, and if they take 10 of them, all they're going to do is have even more protection, because you can't OD on it. It is all natural bee pollen. It comes from Mother Nature. Karen, tell them about the special we have going on so they can take advantage of Nature Bee.
That's right. Well, we've got that St. Patrick's Day offer, right? So it's our most popular offer ever. It is a 6-month supply of power pollen for $160, but it carries with it a bonus 1-month supply. So that's worth $39.95 right there. So a bonus 1-month supply. You just use that coupon, Big O, in the shopping cart to grab that bonus jar worth $39.95. Plus, you get free delivery with that deal. That's great value. So that's only 69 cents a day to feel $1 million.
Use our code Big O, or you can go to naturebee.com/Big O also. Karen, as always, I appreciate it. We'll catch up next week and talk a little Nature Bee.
Look forward to it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
There you go, Karen Cook. And again, go to naturebee.com/Big O. Use our code, and you are going to get 7 months. And you're going to get a lot of power of pollen for 7 months. So take advantage. Go to naturebee.com. All right, give me 1 minute, and we're back here at Hialeah Park.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Slowman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Slowman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Slowman Shield.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJD Construction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJD Construction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hialeah Park, baby, second floor poker room. Come on out, join us, and you got a chance to win a Mercedes-Benz. We're going to give it away April 1st. And here's the man that's giving it away, Steve Calabro. That's right. GM here at Hialeah Park. How you doing, my man? You doing good?
Big O. The Mercedes is looking fantastic. I took it for a spin about 5 days ago.
Sean says it looked better if he was driving it. I don't know. That's
he
went with a lot better.
I think a lot of people would debate that. Hopefully, the women.
Okay.
All right. Maybe you. It depends. It depends.
True.
But listen, there's another thing besides the Mercedes, and we'll get back to the Mercedes with details. April 1st is going to be a rocking night. But we just added another promo for poker. So we had a little bad beat. We started at around 25,000. It progressed up to about 75,000, and it was scheduled to cap at 75. And we capped it for a couple of weeks at 75, and then we say the heck with it. The heck with it. We just starting tomorrow, we have a $100,000 bad beat jackpot in our poker room.
$100K
on a Texas Hold'em game, and it varies based on game. PLO games a little different than Texas Hold'em, but on the Texas Hold'em game, you get beat. You have quad tens, and you get beat by a straight flush. You're the winner of the bad beat $100,000 prize.
Wow!
It's kind of nice the way it works. Obviously the person that gets beat gets half the pot. The other person gets 25, and everybody else at the table splits 25.
Oh, that is so. Everybody wins.
It's like a communal jackpot.
All right, that's cool.
Everybody gets a piece of that 100,000. Obviously, the guy or girl getting beat gets the bigger share, gets 50%. And the other person gets 25, and then all the other people split up the other 25. So you're sitting at the game and you watch it, you win a couple thousand.
Now, if you're not the last person at the table that won, but the last person at the table has been a sap the entire night and been screwing everybody over, should we really give him a piece of the pie?
Well, the rules are we got to give him a piece of the pie. We got a piece of the pie. But it's not as bad it is in poker. Poker and blackjack, it does annoy customers.
Yeah, it annoys.
Blackjack, it's more annoying in blackjack for me.
It is the most annoying in blackjack.
Yeah. But in poker, it's annoying
If the
too.
last person doesn't know what they're doing, they screw the whole table up all the time. It's like I've been to casinos at times where I sit down and then that last person, I just watch them for a couple of hands, and I see, and I pick up my stuff and I'm out of there because I'm like, I'm gonna lose everything here because that person doesn't know what they're doing.
You know what? It happened to my son. I went to see my son about 2 weeks ago. He lives up in Philadelphia. He was gambling in Atlantic City. I tell him not to gamble. His father's in the gaming business 40 years. I've been telling him for 40 years. Well, he's 30 years old. I've been telling him for about
it's entertainment,
30
baby.
years, right?
It's
Not to gamble. Now he's telling me that he had 1,500 on the table. I'm getting all like, what are you doing, right? Anyhow, he says he's at a blackjack table, and this annoying lady was not only annoying, but she was doing stupid moves, and she was sitting to his side. And he said, Dad, I had to get up. As a matter of fact,
are you much of a blackjack guy or anything like that? Well, sometimes the person at the end of the table sometimes has to take a hit for everybody else. Sometimes that's just the way. And because they don't know, like they've got to stand pat. Like I'll give you an example. They've got to stand pat when like taking a card. There's a good chance you'll lose, and at the same time you'll take away the 10 from the dealer that's got a 6, which you're looking at and you're thinking they got 16 because they got a 10 under. And so you've got a car, and you're like, you've got like a 15.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're not supposed to ask for anything. Just let them go, right? And then, so that way they break and everybody wins. But the last person sometimes is a jag-off. And, I'm going to get the 4 or the 5. No, you're not, dude. You're going to get the 10, and you're going to take it away from the dealer.
So,
and then that just pisses me. I just want to go and strangle that person at the end of the table.
If they're not playing a good strategy game, it does mess the game up.
It messes the whole game up.
And it messes up your psyche. How bad what my son's situation was? So he gets up.
How about when you're in a groove and then the sap sits there and then you like.
That's exactly what happened. He's winning. He's up about, he started with 1,500. He's up over $2,000. Now this annoying lady sits down. She's playing ridiculous. He leaves. Now the pit bosses actually see this. He kind of is walking around. About a half hour later, the pit boss says something that, don't worry, we just kicked her out, and you can come on back. He had wandered over to where his friends were playing craps or something like that. That's how bad it was. That's how bad
it gets. You, and we can't control it. Nobody can control it.
No.
We can't control it.
Well, they can kick the real jerk out, I guess. In this case, not only was she playing poorly, but she was being an asshole, so they kicked her out. But
okay. Well, that's actually the benefit right there.
They got
because if they're just bad players, it doesn't do anything except bury everybody.
Basically
the house loves it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, because even the dealer picked up on it. The dealer was one that, called the pit boss over and said, look, we got to get this lady out of here. So, but anyhow, back here at Hialeah Park, $100,000 bad beat. It starts tomorrow.
Okay.
$100,000 bad beat. Now, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Get this, next Friday. We've been doing this promotion. We've done it 3 times this year. We're giving away, it's a $4,000 hourly. $4,000 hourly high hand. $1,000 every 15 minutes high hand next Friday.
Nice.
We did it last Friday.
There you go,
Barn
folks.
burner. Did it twice in January. Barn burner. I mean, really super. I don't know if you're not here on Friday, but I'm telling you, it's mobbed. It's like a mob scene.
That's
it's a mob scene.
What are you talking about? I was here on Friday.
Oh, last Friday?
That's right.
Then you saw the mob scene.
We're doing the boxing.
I don't know. No, that was a couple
2
Fridays
weeks ago.
Yeah, I
No,
don't think
but
we
I
did
was
it.
there on a
we
Friday.
did it on that Friday. That
Yes.
Friday we did it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we had we had a record day.
Right.
It runs from 12 to 8, and it was killing it.
Right.
Killing it in here. That's right. You did see it.
Yeah, place was packed.
Stand corrected.
Place was packed.
Anyhow, back to the Mercedes. The Mercedes, April 1st. I'm telling you, all you have to do. Let me just tell everybody, because it gets a little confusing. This is casino time. So we're giving it away Saturday night. Saturday night. When you go out at 6 o'clock, it's Saturday.
Right.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, it's still Saturday night. But
it's Sunday.
But it's Sunday technically. So we're giving it away Saturday night at 1
a.m., which is April 1st.
Which is really
it's April 1st.
Well, it gets even ridiculously more confusing, because I guess technically it's 1 o'clock in the morning on April 2nd, but it's April 1st evening.
Right.
See, casino day doesn't end till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
For us.
I got you.
The casino world. The rest of the world, it ends at 12 midnight. For casino world, we end around 6 a.m.
So you got your permanent daylight savings time that's added.
Yeah, we're like casino savings time.
Yeah,
it's a whole different. It's a whole different thing, right? Like if you go out, forget about casino. You go out partying, and you go out at 9 o'clock at night on Saturday, and then you bump into Sean at 2 o'clock. Is it still Saturday night? Yes, it's Saturday night.
It's still Saturday night.
It's Saturday night.
Yeah. although with Sean, it's Saturday night every night, because he's just partying every night. All the time.
Well, why would we bump you at 2 o'clock? You might be really having a good time at 2 o'clock.
No, Sean will be sleeping guaranteed at 2 o'clock.
Oh, you've had your good time already.
Yeah.
Oh, so he makes it easier. So he's only stays in the calendar day.
Yeah. When we go on the road, I'm the one going out. He's the one staying home. I'm the guy going out to meetings and concerts or whatever, and he's like hanging out at the house.
Oh, I've always been a late owl. You know, I mean, you know what are my favorite hours?
Well, that's why you're working a casino.
I love to go to work around 7 o'clock p.m. and go home around 3. Beautiful. It's nice. It's just beautiful. Let me tell you why. We have some positions over here in the casino, so your listeners can apply. But here's why. Think about this concept. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I drive home. I go to sleep at 4. I go right to sleep within an hour, which not everybody can do. So that's a tricky thing. Now, I don't set an alarm. No, I wake up naturally. I let nature wake me up. Whatever time that is. Doesn't matter if it's 6 hours later, 8 hours later. Most people have to get up to an alarm. It's horrible. You hitting the snooze button. But when you work nights, you just get up when you get up. And then you go do all your stuff, during the day. And then you have dinner with your family. Then when everybody's going to go watch some stupid TV, you go to work. And by the way, get this. You've had a full day. So you're tired on their time.
Right.
You were fresh on your time.
Right.
When you woke up till you had dinner with your family and then got ready to go to work, you were nice and fresh and ready to go.
Right.
When you get to work, you're a little tired, So I think working nights isn't bad. So maybe some of your listeners will apply. You got a couple jobs.
There we go. If you're looking for work, there we go. We got plenty of jobs all over this country. Got plenty of jobs. Not a lot of banks open, but we got plenty of jobs.
Well, we got.
What'd you think of Jaylen Ramsey for the Dolphins?
I love it. You took the question out of my mouth. I tell you, I think we're going to literally have one of the best defensive secondaries in the NFL.
If not
the conference, in the NFL.
If not the best.
Yes.
Javon Holland at safety.
And Howard, I mean, come on. This is going to be a really, really, really
and
good.
as I've been telling everybody, Howard will be very motivated because it's he will get released next year if he does not play well. And if he wants to stick around, he has to play well. Or if he wants to work for somebody else in 2024, he's going to have to play well in 2023 because of what happened last year. So he's going to be really motivated. Plus, him and Jaylen are friends.
Yeah, Jaylen. Look, he's really, really come on. Really, really come on as a in that position. So I think that's a great defense. Now I have a question about that. So free agency is great to watch. Every morning you turn it on, you see who's buying who and blah blah blah. So what do you think about the Dolphins? I know they signed for their running backs, but what about like Dalvin Cook? Was he a possibility, or was Eckler or somebody that's
unless they wanted to take like a monster pay cut. Greer doesn't pay for running backs, and he doesn't draft them high. It's what he does.
Yeah, but this is a different system. The
matter.
running game is a little bit of a
doesn't matter. They went and got two backs that are they're paying like $5 million for all their backs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe a smidge more. Doesn't Mozart get $2 million? Yeah,
5.5 maybe.
Yeah, something.
I mean, they're both $2 million running backs, and the other kid got $1 million.
Yeah,
they're spending $5 million for all their backs.
But look, I like Mozart, and I like Wilson. I think they're pretty good, right?
It's about fixing the line. It's not about the running backs average 4.5 yards a carry, with the line not being where it needed to be yet.
Yeah,
better, but not where it needed to be. So if you improve the line, and then if you add a playmaking tight end, which I think they're going to draft one, because this draft is loaded with tight ends.
Yeah, yes.
So I think the second and third round, one of those two picks will be a tight end, I believe. So you get them the playmaking tight end, and then Tua now all of a sudden has a running game and a playmaking tight end to go along with all the receivers. That's something he didn't have last year. He didn't have a running game that he can count on all the time. Mike McDaniel wasn't committed to the running game like he should be, and then they didn't use Gesicki.
Right.
So those are two elements in their offense that they didn't really have, and then so when everybody talks about the San Fran offense and Purdy and all that, well, Purdy's got a strong line, a running back that can run and pass catch,
a great tight end that can block and catch,
the best or second best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah,
and 3 receivers. So every time he dropped back, he has every option available. Tua did not. Tua just had the receivers. He didn't have the tight end, and he didn't have the running game.
He didn't have the blocking tight end.
Well, no, the tight end period, because they didn't use Gesicki since he didn't block.
Yeah,
so you didn't, they decided to use him at the end of the year in the last couple of games, and all he did was score touchdowns and make plays.
So that's a great segue. Where do you think my Jersey boy goes?
I just talked about it a little while ago. He's going to sign a 1-year contract somewhere.
1 year?
1 year. Listen to me. Wow. Last 2 years, he's been stuck in a system that they didn't use him. Flo didn't use him. Flo used him a little more than this guy.
Yeah.
But not as much.
No.
Not like Gase did.
He was also young, because Flo, he was a rookie and a second-year guy.
Gase is the one that really used him. Gase was the guy that really wanted to use him. But anyway, so bottom line is, the last 2 years, he doesn't have the stats. So how do you go ask for $15 million a year when you have no stats? You can't. You can't say on pure potential, this is who he could be. Well, yeah, but that's not who you've been the last 2 years, and you haven't had the 1,000-yard breakout season, 800-yard, 10 touchdown. You haven't had that, so we can't pay you. So he's going to have to go sign a 1-year contract. He and his agent are going to have to nail it. They're going to have to go to the place where he is going to get playing time and go ball out.
Yeah, offensive.
And so
offensive targets.
And so if he goes to that team and he balls out, then he has the 1-year deal. He gets all the stats. And then now in free agency, he can go say, okay, give me, because nobody's going to give him a 4-year, $85 million deal, dude. They're not going to give it to him.
But, not to steal a line from all the sports writers who are talking about Lamar, but that's why you have an agent, right? And hopefully the agent can sell some team on a 2 or 3, maybe not 4 years, but 2 or 3 year deal.
But you're not going to get any money. They're going to steal. They're going to steal you. They're going to lowball you because you don't have any stats. So you're going to make $5 million a year for 3 years.
No,
you're going to lock yourself into a
horrible.
That's what I'm saying. He's not even going to make what he made last year.
You don't think he makes $10 million? No,
11, and he did not make. He's not going to make it.
Wow.
He will get way less than that. The money's already drying up. The money's
I
already
mean,
drying up.
Yeah, the free agency hasn't. Well, it started for him today, though, right?
No, it's he's already been a free agent.
They've been, and nobody's even talking about
They
it.
could have negotiated with him.
Yeah,
he has an agent. Lamar was the one that had to wait a couple extra days because he didn't have an agent. So he had to wait a couple extra days, but he could.
What do you think about the Lamar thing? It's kind of it's like almost crazy.
I just think that he wants a fully guaranteed contract, and nobody's going to give it to him.
But he's basing it on one owner giving one player who hasn't really proven.
And you have no agent, so you do stupid things like this.
Yeah, it's a sin. I almost, at one level, I feel bad for him because he's not getting what.
I don't feel bad for stupidity. Ignorance and stupidity is not something I have any.
So, like, he's
also
being stubborn, too, about it.
That's what I'm saying, ignorance.
Yeah, well,
It's
ignorance is, I think.
I'm going with ignorance.
I think stubbornness is a cousin to ignorance, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
but I'm going with
they
ignorance.
kind of are related, you know?
It's a shame because he's a fantastic young man, but he's kind of misplaced in his head of where he is in this world.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, this is what he has to deal with. And I think Baltimore knows that nobody's going to give him a fully guaranteed contract.
I know. And because it's the whole 2 first-round draft picks, who's going to, and it's why should I do Baltimore's work?
Right.
I'll come up with a deal that Lamar likes, and then Baltimore will say, okay, I'll do it. And then I don't get him, and I wasted, there's only so much time in a day that you're trying to put your team together.
I think this ends in a holdout.
Oh, that's ugly.
Yeah, I think it ends in a holdout because he's dead set on this fully guaranteed deal, and it's just stupid because nobody should give a fully guaranteed deal to any quarterback, much less a running quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think the whole Deshaun Watson thing is completely wrong.
Right. Well, that was just a stupid owner and a desperate team. Desperate people do stupid things, and that's your Cleveland Browns.
At any rate, I think I'm not going to say you are wrong on this one, but I think
I'm just telling you, it's impossible to give him a big contract.
No, I'm getting back to the Gesicki thing. I hope
Yeah,
you're wrong
that's
on
what I'm saying.
I just hope
It's
you're
impossible.
wrong on that one. I feel bad for the.
But why would you give him if you're someone else and there are no stats to prove it? Why would you give him a frontline contract?
The year before stats were good though,
but it's still not like elite tight
15,
ends.
not 15 million, but you would think more than 5 million.
I'm just telling you, it's just he doesn't have the stats.
I'm hoping he gets a 30-year, 3-year, $30 million deal.
I just don't think anybody's going to give him that because you're going to have to give him like $15 million up front because you'll give him like half of that contract up front because it becomes 5 per year for 3 years, and then the rest is salaries and incentives and all that other shit.
That's kind of a bummer, but anyhow.
Yeah.
The good news is
but the Dolphins they got Braxton Berios today.
I saw that today,
returner.
Which is interesting. A University of Miami guy. What a 1-year deal? What did they pay him? Did you know that?
I don't know, but it's
I couldn't
nothing.
look up. I couldn't find the amount. I was looking at
that when you can't find the amount,
it's not high.
It's not very much.
Yeah.
Okay, when there's a lot of money, hey, we'll tell you it's a 4-year, $477 million deal, and we got 340 of it up front, and they'll tell you all that. When they're not making a lot of money, that's a 1-year contract.
But now the last thing I'd like to talk about is I am looking forward to the Dolphins season for a lot of reasons. One, I think they're going to have a good year. They're going to be competitive. I think McDaniel in his second year will be a better coach. And he's a good coach, and he'll be better. But it's also going to be enjoyable to root against Aaron Rodgers. This I'm looking forward to.
Oh, it's going to be a disaster.
I can't
It's
wait
going to be
for
an
that
absolute disaster.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be an absolute train wreck.
Listen, one time, I'm going to leave with this story. This is your listeners might get mad at me when I say this. I remember being in Giant Stadium years ago. I was a young kid, right? And John Elway was there. I was never a big John Elway fan. Then I met him and I became a less of a fan. But anyhow, so we were at a golf tournament. He didn't want to be there. I was like saying, why don't you leave? Like, you apparently don't want to be here, so go home, Right. But anyhow, so we're at Giants Stadium. Elway's there, and the Giants fans are going ballistic. I don't know if it was Giants or Jets. I was at Giants Stadium, but it might have been the Jets fans because they're a little more rowdier. And they're going ballistic, and he's standing in a tunnel, and this guy has a hot dog, and he's got this whole container, like your water container, filled with golden mustard, the yellow mustard, and don't you know, I'm standing like I'm two seats away from him. He throws the thing. It hits Elway. It goes. Elway hasn't gotten on the field. It's all across the front of his jersey. Elway has to go back to the locker room and get another jersey. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
I thought that was really bad and inappropriate.
Did they throw the guy out?
I don't remember. I don't think he did get thrown out. I don't remember.
They didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, it was like, it was like right as the game he was going to get announced. Like
Luckily, no millennials were around. They would have ratted on his ass right away.
Now, I'm not saying that I would do this, but
Generation Z's and millennials, boy, you people are wussies, man. But man, you give people up like nothing, man. No scruples.
Here's my
Generation
thing.
Z's and millennials.
I will tell you this,
wussies.
Big O. If I sit
softies,
I sit near the tunnel in the first row. If you happen to hand me a really large container of yellow mustard and Aaron Rodgers is nearby, there may be a repeat. I didn't do the first one, and I'm not saying I'm definitely going to do it, but I just don't.
Yeah, how long? That was a while ago.
Oh, it's
Elway
like
was
25 years ago.
That's
20
right.
years ago.
Technology now, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I lose my season tickets, right?
No, yeah, you'll get kicked out. You'll get arrested for that.
It would be bad, right? But I can tell
They can actually charge you with assault.
Yeah, because you threw like something, Yeah. But I can tell you something. I just am going to enjoy rooting against this guy. I just don't like Aaron Rodgers. This whole I sat in the darkness and I found you're just trying to get attention, please, pal. Yeah, you are special. Your mommy was right.
Wait
You're
for
special.
the New York media, bro.
Oh, they're gonna eat him alive, and
he's gonna say something really stupid, and it's just gonna go the other way. And
I just hope we go 2-0 against them.
Oh,
and I hope we win that.
I'm not worried about the Jets. I'm not worried about Buffalo anymore.
No, you know what though? I tell you what though, the Jets. So I'm a little different on it. I know we got to end it, but I got to tell you something. I went to the Jets Dolphin game this year in New York.
Yeah,
and I got to tell you that before that running back got hurt at
Breece Hall.
Hell
of a player.
That guy's now. Remember that game? He had like a 60-yard run or something.
No, he's
like
a hell of a player.
He's a beast.
Great player.
Guy healthy is a beast.
Great player.
I worry about that running game could be way better because of him, and I don't know. Their line is not bad, but
no, I get it.
So I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, I get it. No, they've got a pretty decent team. They got a good defense.
Yeah,
but I think when it's all said,
you can have
it. I think when it's all said and done, I think Miami's the better team.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But anyhow, remember April 1st,
April
1
1st,
a.m.
baby.
Saturday night,
1 a.m.
1 a.m. Be there or be square.
I love it.
And more you play, the more you'll be there 1 o'clock, right? We're gonna have you there. Okay, we'll hang out at 3.
He's guaranteed to win it. He told me
he's guaranteed.
I don't know what he's doing.
He must be playing a lot. He must be.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's kind of rigged it already. He's gonna win.
And remember, tomorrow, $100,000 Bad Beats starts.
Okay.
Anybody can come here. You could be.
Does Sean get to drive the car home right on Saturday night when he wins it?
Saturday night, take it home, drive it right down the runway. We have the keys in the office.
There you go. There you go.
Alrighty, guys.
All right.
Sounds
All right,
good.
my brother.
Thank you, boss.
I appreciate you immensely. Steve
Take care.
Calabro, General Manager here at Hialeah Park. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And again, you come on out here and you play all the loosest slots in the state, and you get a chance to win some money. And then the more you play, the more entries to win that Mercedes-Benz. I used to count cards, and it would piss people off when I'd take those hits. That person at the last person at the table can be an absolute nightmare, dude. Nightmare. So Dolphins make the moves for Braxton Berios, Dan Feeney, Jerron Christian, Nick Needham, Deshaun Elliott, Eric Saubert, Myles Gaskin, Freddie Swaim, and Kendall Lamb, all signed. So they made their moves there in free agency. Has there been anything else to that the Dolphins have done? I don't think so, right? Yeah. Oh, John Lovett. That's right. John Lovett. The big John Lovett re-signing with the Dolphins also. Forgot about that, too. Steelers, by the way, signed to Landon Roberts, and they cut Miles Jack. Remember, a lot of Dolphin fans wanted Miles Jack out of UCLA. What do you got? You got some news going on here? Because you're oohing and ahhing
The
here.
Colts have found their quarterback.
Oh.
It is Gardner Minshew. Is heading to Indianapolis. Listen to this.
I bet she's getting at least 15 to 17 million a year.
It is expected to be a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with bonuses for Minshew in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So what those bonuses might be,
Right.
But I was like, when I saw the 3.5 and I was like, oh,
yeah, that's a cap deal.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
what that
what it
is,
is,
because then the incentives roll over into next year is what they do. So that's probably what it is. It'll roll over or something along those lines. Because if he makes more money than his salary, then you've got to then accommodate those incentives.
Trying to find the story.
I think that's how it goes. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's how it goes.
Trying to find the story. I thought I had bookmarked it, but I didn't. But the Green Bay Packers are playing
But he also
hardball
has
with
a
the
chance.
Jets too, by the way.
Oh yeah, he has a chance to start there.
Oh no,
which-
yeah, that's what he's going there
which-
for.
That's
what he's
part
going
of the
there for,
idea.
yeah.
So it's an incentive contract. So if they win a certain amount of games, you probably can make an extra $10 million.
It's 1 year. They get them. They probably get a quarterback maybe in the draft to sit behind him so he can through the year and gets the 1 year deal.
Yeah, he has more opportunities to play there.
And
than
those
he does.
bonuses probably like 8 wins, you get this much. 10 wins,
Yeah,
you
it
get
gets
this
them to
much.
playoffs,
You're
yeah.
getting,
Yeah, win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and crap.
which don't wanna
Great.
happen, but
Yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but yeah. Chaz says someone really made an account called Hate Big O.
Yeah.
They did? Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
good.
up there.
I like
it's in the comments. It's a commenter.
I like it.
It says hate Big O.
I like it.
But then they ask you a
I like
question
it.
about
That's what that's happened to me at home. Everybody
It's
hates
called-
me at home. Wife hates me. Daughter hates me.
It's called Hate Big O, but it says Big O. You seeing what the top defensive tacklers are getting paid? Take your heart out of the equation. Is Christian Wilkins worth $20 million a year? He doesn't generate that much QB pressure for that money.
Only one guy from that position, actually two now, because they signed the Deron Payne. Deron Payne, they signed him. He has 11.5 sacks, and then the other guy's Aaron Donald. From the defensive tackle position, there aren't a lot of guys that get a whole bunch of sacks. But then if you compare I did this already. I already had this conversation. It's already there. Let me go back to my notes. God. Luckily, I'm usually prepared. Let me see where the hell it's at. Is that it right there? Deron Payne has 64 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 5 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery, right? Wilkins, from 64, it goes to 98 for Wilkins, okay? He had only 3.5 sacks to this guy's 11.5. The other guy had 5 pass deflections. Wilkins had 6, and he had 1 fumble recovery. So it depends. You know what I mean? You're going to have a defensive tackle that is getting nearly 100 tackles. That's not normal. That's elite. And that's really, really important. You already have pass rushers on your team, so it's not necessarily needed as much. So, yes, he's worth about $20 million, and that's what he's going to end up getting. Okay? Even if you hate me, that's the reality. He will get the $20 million a year.
Hoyer has been released by the Patriots.
Oh,
Again.
my God.
Again.
Brian Hoyer. That guy's been stealing money in this league for a long, long time, dude. Long time. My God, he has been stealing money. Holy moly. Whew. It's crazy stuff. All right, what else do we have going on? Youth Fair broadcast, just to remind you guys, this Monday, March 20th, we're going to be at the Youth Fair. We won't be on at 10 a.m. We will be on at 2 in the afternoon, 2 to 5. So if you're going to the Youth Fair on Monday, come on by and say hi to us. Next Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, the following Wednesday, the 29th, we will be at the Youth Fair again from 2 to 5 p.m. And then the following Wednesday after that, April 5th, we'll be there 4 to 7 p.m. because they open a little later that day on that Wednesday. The other Wednesdays, they open at noon. So that's why we're there. So looking forward to it. Some good news. Cater Kohu is going to be joining us on Monday here on the program. All right. So if no time yet. I don't have a what? Oh, because it's the afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll set that up. We don't have a specific time yet, but Cater Kohu will be joining us on Monday. So there you go. All right. I'm working on some other ones. I'm working on more Dolphin players to join us, and some former Dolphin players and things like that. So we'll get you. I would have gotten more this week, but I didn't want to bother a lot of the people in the NFL because they're dealing with free agency and all of that stuff. So, I don't want to bother all these agents. I know most of the agents in this business. So that'll be cool. We'll get Cater Kohu on Monday. Yes, Darth Cater will be on Monday, and we'll have some fun with him. We get to talk to him about Jaylen Ramsey and stuff and X and everything else going on. So that's pretty cool too. I'm looking forward to it. Cater is going to have himself a nice little battle there at the slot position. And let me tell you something. I like him in that slot position because he's so athletic and he's so good against the run. So that gets him there a little closer to help you out in the run game. And he is so physical as a corner, man. I'm a big Cater fan, as you guys know. I like the kid. I've liked the kid since I saw him at training camp. He caught my eye. I was like, whoa, this is a different dude that's out there. And I'm impressed. Noel Doubt says Darth Cater on Monday. Nice. I was rocking my Kohu jersey at the zoo this weekend. Nice. There you go. Alexis says tempted to go on Monday and meet Darth. Oh no. He dude, he's not going to be with us at the youth fair talking. He'll be, on the video. He's not going to be with us physically, okay? He'll be on the phone, but it's not a phone, as you know, because we do video and audio now. So listen, you can come on and to the youth fair, but you're just going to see us ugly faces. That's it, okay? That's all you're going to see, nothing else. You'll see me with my mouth stuffed with an elephant ear. That's about it. That's what you're going to see, okay? So I would hate for you, Alexis, to go out there, or Alex, I'm sorry, for you to go out there and then you're like, hey, isn't Cater supposed to be? No. If darkness can turn Aaron Rodgers into a New York Jet, I'm officially afraid of the dark. Oh, man. Yes, go ahead. Ask me. By the way, did I win my prediction or what?
You
I
did.
did?
Yep.
There you go.
Jane won.
Jane.
So with this Aaron Rodgers situation, okay?
Yes.
Now the Packers are going to play hardball with the Jets.
Yes.
But how far do you go? Because you don't want to bring Rodgers back.
No, you don't want to bring Rodgers back, but you also don't want to give him away.
I don't, but
and at the same time, yeah, this is a game of
I
chicken.
almost feel like this thing now is just going to sit there until one of them just says, fine, just take them.
See, but it also walk with me on this one. Walk with me on this one. All right. This is what could be going on here. Okay. Let's talk about this Jet Green Bay thing, because there's a couple layers to all of this. Okay. Everybody says just what Sean was saying. So how far can you go with this? Well, you can go pretty far, because there's two ways of looking at it. Well, Green Bay wants to trade him, right? So what are you going to do? Wait till the season and then you're creating all kinds of problems, and what? He has to come back and then take the job away from Trey Lance? Yeah, but then if you're the Jets, how long do you have to wait to try to acquire him? Because there are no quarterbacks left. And if you've got a team that's got a window now, right? That's the way the Jets are looking at themselves. Like, they've got a window. So Aaron Rodgers has got to get there and play with people to get the timing down and all that. So Green Bay can also hold on to him, and it's a detriment to the Jets too. Because as training camp or as mini camps move on, then you get to training camp and he's not there and you haven't made the trade, then you've got backup quarterbacks going, and now you're into the preseason and you're playing this game of chicken, and at the same time, he's so flaky that he might retire on your ass. And then if he retires on your ass, I think from what I understand, they might get a break on the money. You don't just get the money if you retire. You got to play for that money. And so I don't know how Aaron's going to think. After all, he was 90% out the door.
Yeah. So then the Jets would have Cobb, Lazard, and no Rodgers.
That would be so Jets. That would be
Zach
so
Wilson thrown
Jets.
to him.
Yes, exactly. So think about it. You're into week 2 of the preseason. You haven't been able to make the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers. Meanwhile, Zach Wilson is throwing interceptions all over the place. He's hitting on the owner's wife. I don't know, whatever Zach Wilson does for a living. I have no idea. And then it becomes a disaster. Then the New York media is writing about this. Oh, these guys look stupid. They haven't made the trade, this, that. So Green Bay can actually make it look bad for the Jets because the Jets have no options now. So it's really a game of chicken on how far do either team goes until the Packers get what they want or until the Jets are forced to make a move for the quarterback, because if they don't make the move for the quarterback, they have no football season because they have no quarterback. And then they'll have the New York media riding on their asses that they didn't get him for training camp, they didn't get him for the mini camps, they didn't get him for the preseason, and they look like the Jets. So really, it goes both ways. It could actually be played out both ways. And Green Bay knows that this dude is such a flake that if you keep going deep into the offseason and getting into training camp and all that, he might get to a point where he says, oh, F this and F everybody. I'm out of here, dude. I'm done. You never know. So if you're Green Bay, you do have to stick to your guns and you have to get at least market value, because I know that they'll say, oh, well, hey, man, when we traded for Brett Favre, we gave up a 4th rounder. Okay, but that was a guy that was already done, over the hill. Aaron Rodgers is really not over the hill. He's still very healthy. He still can throw the football. This is a game of chicken that you can make a case for both of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those. And hey, the general manager did say the only way Rodgers comes back is if we don't get what we expect out of this and all that. And there you go. You know, it'll be weird as hell, dude.
So does Rodgers come back as Jordan Love's backup?
I don't think he comes back in that case. You know what I mean? If they tell him, well, hey, we couldn't make the trade, you got to come back to Green Bay, he might just retire. He might just say, yeah, you guys don't want me there. I don't want to be there anymore.
Now, if he retires, he's got to sit out a year or until the contract is over.
Oh, no. It depends. If he retires, I don't think he gets the money.
Then could he retire and then go to the Jets?
No, they still own his rights because it's a couple of years
Until
left
a
on his
couple
deal.
years. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the Sean Payton deal.
Yeah,
with the contract.
Exactly. They own your ass. Yeah. Jamie says, Big O, I am convinced that Miami is such a big football town. That is the reason why the Dolphin fans are so easy to bite or bait, that is, and the national media knows this. Nah, the national media just needs a lot of them just need the clickbait, bro, just so they can get the hits and get their names out there and all that stuff. That's all. That's why people do it. Big O, Rodgers to the Jets. I'm sure it will be Jets week 1, late afternoon. Jets will get a few spotlights games before because of Rodgers. Maybe. We shall find out. If you were the Packers, what would you ask for? Definitely a first rounder. At least. They got to get another pick. Another one. 2nd, 3rd, 4th round or something. You've got to get you're giving them a franchise quarterback, bro. They have no shot at the playoffs without him, and they have a shot to go to the playoffs with him. So what does it mean to you? And if you're only going to give me a 4th rounder, then I'm going to tell you, screw you, bro. I'll take the cap hit. We're good. Take it easy. Make it worth my while if I'm going to trade you. That's what I would do if I'm the Packers. You've got to give me something that is really tangible. So I don't blame Green Bay for wanting this year 1 and this year's the 13th pick. Next year with Rodgers, that pick should be much higher. That's right. You are correct. Hitting on the owner's wife, laughing my ass off. I laughed inappropriately at work with that one. Luckily, my coworkers left for the day. Seen Fins 4 times, 2 in Buffalo, 1 time in Pittsburgh, 1 time in Philadelphia. We are 4-0. Marino as QB. I need to be able to be a ticket holder. All wins. Well, then move your ass down here, Dave. The hell are you doing, bro? Kind of crap is that, Dave? You're a shitty fan, bro. If you know you're the reason why we win, then why aren't you down here for all the games? Why haven't you moved here? Quit your job, leave your family, dump your kids. Come down here. Go to Dolphin games. Get us to the Super Bowl, Dave. You're the missing piece, bro. And you don't move here? This is why we've been sucking for 20 years. It's your fault, Dave. Get your ass down here, bro. Get some season tickets. Let's go. What a slacker, this guy, Dave. He's the secret. He knows he's the secret, and he's not sharing the sauce. That's just not right, Dave. That's just not right. See, Rob Budd is right. Damn you, Dave. DYD. Damn you, Dave. Dave can help our Dolphins. He knows he's the key, and he doesn't show up to all the games. In fact, Dave, I think you need a job that you go to all the home games and you go to all the road games. Okay? So find a way to make enough money to go to all Dolphin games. Okay? Let's go, Dave. You know you've got the power. You're ruining it for us. No wonder I've had a shitty 20 years. Because freaking Dave doesn't go to the games. Son of a bitch hasn't gone to a game since Marino. This is just not right. I'm telling you, Dave, you are very selfish. It's not right. Not right. If Rodgers goes to the Jets, then the first sign of adversity will tumble the organization. Also, Jets are telling Rodgers, you're not worth a first. Either that or they're just playing the game. You know, they're just trying to hardball. We'll see. We'll see. All right, we thank Ira Winderman, Alan Pupart, Steve Calabro, of course, Karen Cook, too, for joining us. And remember, take advantage of that deal with NatureB right now. Go to naturebee.com/BigO. Use our code BigO, and you will get a 7-month supply, man. I mean, you're going to be saving $40. This is a monster deal at naturebee.com/BigO. Take advantage of it. It's great for the entire family, man. You're going to love it. All right. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, who masters this entire platform every single day. We thank John Brunetti Jr., of course, and the Brunetti family, always great supporters of our program. Frank Fiore, you are a stud, sir, as always. Thank you. And we thank all the people out here at Hialeah Park for making it nice and easy for us every Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. live at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. We'll see you there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Y'all have a great one out there. Thank you.